All right, YouTube, welcome to the semifinals of the original 16 men's Bonspiel. I'm Rob Lane, one of the board of directors here commentating, and I've got Chelsea Carey with me as a guest commentator today. Chelsea, welcome to the booth. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So our semifinal feature game today is Karsten Sturmay versus Mike McEwen. It's a couple familiar names. Mike McEwen and his team out of Saskatchewan making a hard run for the Brier this year. Karsten Sturmay, I'd still like to call them a young and up-and-coming team. I think they consider themselves a little bit more veteran than that maybe. They've been on the scene for a couple of years and definitely one of the new young teams coming up in Alberta.
Yeah, absolutely. These both teams very, very strong and obviously playing well this week, so it should be a great game.
For sure. And then on our other semifinal, we've got Team Dunham and Team Bernath. Team Dunham is actually out of Pennsylvania. I don't know much about them other than they're from Pennsylvania, so I'll stop there. And Team Bernath is from the Nutana in Saskatoon. They're another young up-and-coming team, kind of like Sturmay. All right, so we're kicking off. Classic center line guard from the Sturmay team. Not a surprise there.
Team McEwen awarded the hammer here based on their better record coming into the playoffs, so they did have a pregame practice, but they didn't draw to the button. Mike gets that automatically because of their record.
Absolutely. Chelsea, when you were starting off in games, did you like starting with the guards, or were you a little more defensive and coming in sometimes?
If you like the ice, then I like starting with a guard. As long as we feel good about the speed, most of the time we would throw the guard. Depending on the team, there was a few teams that I played with where we didn't necessarily play our best in the first end regularly, so then we might switch that up. But yeah, no, I do like the guard, and I don't think you see any of the men's teams really throwing it in. You maybe see some women do it, but yeah, I think the guard's the call as long as that you're confident that nothing crazy is going to happen in the ice. And from what I've seen this week, it looks like the speed is really good and really consistent. So then I like the guard because you know what you're getting as far as the ice conditions go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the Sturmay team coming around here. I didn't see the call, but I'm assuming they're drawn down.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a freeze.
Yeah.
Sweeping to curl now, trying to get it to finish that last little bit and get it right to the face.
Pretty darn close. Not a dead freeze, but definitely in the range where they wanted. So Mike following that up, coming down the other side, and he's going to look to just come freeze tap. It's hitting that general area, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because that yellow didn't get all the way to the nose, good opportunity for Mike here to make a freeze, and you might be able to eventually kill that yellow.
All the way cold. Yeah,
This looks like it might have picked.
Keep going, keep going. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely an overcurl there. Not what they were looking for, so might have picked up something on the ice. We've been really lucky this week. I've been here for every game and haven't seen very many picks at all. So,
Unfortunately for Team McEwen, they were on the wrong end of that one.
and just taking a quick look at the other sheet, looks like both sides are kind of playing the same game. Not surprising there. Teams just kind of feeling each other out a little bit. We'll try and keep you folks out on YouTube updated with the other semifinal as they go along as well. And we got somebody from Philadelphia Curling Club watching us on YouTube. So welcome.
Probably hazard a guess who they might be cheering for.
Yeah, they've definitely got to go Team Dunham in there. So that's awesome. Love seeing that. Welcome aboard. Have you ever curled anywhere down in the States, Chelsea?
Yeah, I've played in the States a few times. Never in Philadelphia though. Played in Minnesota quite a bit. Blaine, they have a competitive spiel there. They also have a
Right.
charity spiel there, and Duluth. They have the House of Hearts charity bonspiel there that I typically go to. And then I was down in North Carolina earlier this year teaching a junior clinic. So I don't know if it
Oh,
counts as
wow.
curling. I wasn't actually curling, but the Triangle facility in Raleigh Durham, which is a great facility as well. So yeah, I've been lucky to get around down there a little bit, not extensively, but I've heard great things about the club in Philadelphia, and of course we anyone who's following curling fairly closely, the Anderson sisters are also from out there, Sarah and Taylor, so producing some good teams and good players out of Philadelphia.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that American program is really coming on, isn't it?
It really is. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of depth right now in the U.S. I know Danny Casper and Delaney Strauss, in the Grand Slams now and that kind of thing, which is great to see. So quite a bit of depth. You see, like I say, the Anderson, obviously Tabitha Peterson's team number 1, but there's a couple of really good teams right on her heels, and same on the men's side. You got Schuster, but now you got Corey Dropkin, you got Danny Casper, you've got Scott Dunham. So there's a lot of depth all of a sudden in the U.S., which is really good to see. It's good for the sport, and it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Casper was here at the Spiel as well. He didn't qualify for the playoffs, missed just out on last shot draw, I think it was actually. So, but they definitely won a couple of games, so gave some teams a run for their money here. So great to see.
Think so. I like this.
So on our feature sheet, I think McEwen's he's gonna jiggle some stuff around here.
I like the same turn. Because you kind of gear on this, right? Throw it up here. So I think you're just throwing control at most. I think just control.
Just listening to Mike there saying he's calling for a control weight at most. Doesn't want a ton of weight coming at this.
Yeah, you heard him mention that it was going to gear up, which is a reference to that gear effect. So if you threw this hard and you touch the first yellow and then you just touch the second yellow, your shooter probably goes out of the house, which is what Mike's trying to avoid here. So by bringing the weight down, sticking your shooter is as important as any part of that shot. So good result there.
Yeah, got exactly what he wanted. Does leave a double back for Karsten. Well, guess he'd lose the shooter if he tried that, but
You might be able to stick it if you threw it with just kind of normal or something. You can hit 3/4 of that and make that double,
yeah,
but
you probably can.
a little risky. If you hit it too thin, it obviously could go very badly in a pretty big hurry. So a little bit scary to throw, but definitely an option.
Yep. And just to answer our YouTube question, no, unfortunately we don't have cameras on the other games, so we don't have a tape version for you. That's good. Just leave them there.
Not the call there from Kyle Deering. Over curled on them and hit that quite thin and moved around the frozen rock. Didn't end up terrible because they still left a yellow directly in front of that red McEwen counter.
I'm wondering about throwing normal here.
So Mike, talking about throwing normal, I wonder if that's just because it's on the outside of the sheet and just not wanting to mess around, get fancy, make the rock go away first.
Yeah, my guess is that he's worried it might be a little fresh out here. I think you in the third end or second end or third end, you'd see him throwing a control weight. But in the first end, sometimes when you go way out in the weeds, you get a little bit of that fresh pebble, and so I think just probably just being cautious on that one by throwing a little bit more weight. I imagine you'll see that weight call come down as they get the sheet broken in.
Yep.
So we're going to see the exchange of hits over on this outside rock. Eventually, one of the teams is going to have to make a play on those two in the middle. It'll be a bit of cat and mouse until we get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Teams have been really patient in this Bontsville. That's the other thing I've noticed. You know, we've got a lot of young teams out here.
Try to roll and maybe punch
the young
this
teams that
here.
you'd think would go a little sooner have actually showed a lot of
Like a
patience. So
board?
great to see, and I think that attributes to a lot of
Yeah.
the coaching that they're getting.
Like it just
Used to be when you curl a young team or a team that just came out of
quality
juniors,
shot.
you were pretty automatic what they were going to throw. A lot of heat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But
Probably
the
just
coaching that
control.
these kids have access to now is just absolutely amazing and has
trying to
really
do this.
transformed what they bring to the game. And I think it speaks to the
Yeah, it's a
transition that junior
hopper.
teams make
Control.
into the men's or women's game.
Yeah, big time. It's definitely, they're coming in at a higher level than they used to
Mhm.
when they come into men's and women's curling. And a lot of that is from competing against those teams, like from playing men's and women's events, even when you're in juniors, and also, like you say, from
Curl.
the great coaching resources
whoa,
that we're
whoa, straight,
seeing be
straight.
offered to these young teams
Not
now.
gonna be good regardless.
Yeah, great for the sport. Love seeing it. A lot of fun to watch.
So an undercurl there from Colton. They were actually trying to hit that quite thin and roll underneath and punch that red rock that's on the top of the button out to the other side. And sit either first and second or first and third. I'm not sure if that was a little bit more of a set than they were hoping for from Colton on his release, or if it just ran a little straighter than they expected. But definitely an undercurl there. So the ball is back in Karsten Sturmay's court now to decide if he wants to make a play on those middle two, but it gets a little bit dicey to do that because of that red rock that's third shot.
Good call. Sorry, I had to step away there for a second, so I completely missed all that. But thanks for carrying that, Chelsea.
I got you.
I just
That's what happens when you got amateurs in the
weight
booth,
and
Chelsea.
you know how many rocks. Not, you know, it's not gonna bite anymore. Needed to basically put it where we want to hit it with control. Right. Need to put the broom almost on a half its own. And then just
All right, so Mike just kind of giving some feedback to his team there, talking. We're just listening in on the mic and catching some early strategy from them, what they think, where they think they need to place the broom, the weights they're going to need to throw.
Yeah, and that was to do with the undercurl on Colton Flash's last rock there. That it sounds like he probably threw it quite well
right up.
Mm-hmm.
and didn't get the result they were looking for. So Mike just saying they need to take way less ice. With any kind of weight, by the looks of it, you're not going to get any curl. So you need to put the broom right where you want to hit it versus hoping that it moves. So little lesson learned there for Team McEwen.
Yep.
Right. No double in that area.
And no surprise that these teams have really cleaned up this house with what was looking like some rocks starting to pile up.
Board.
Guys getting rid of stuff pretty quick here.
Right there, I think.
Just looking for a little roll here so that there's no double.
We're gonna be able to manage this.
If you roll somewhere near the center line,
I think you actually
then I
did
don't
there.
think there will be any double available for Karsten
Be
Sturmay.
able to
So
do some stuff with it.
what looked like could be trouble early for Mike McEwen now looks like a pretty sure deuce if he can make
Yeah.
this roll.
Should be able to.
I think that's the way we're gonna do some stuff with.
I might try and get a clock on this one and just see what kind of weight he throws.
Yeah, they're talking
Yeah,
about
if you
boards,
get-
so I
if you
think
get over the
you're looking
center,
for
you'll
like an 11 and a half,
Yep.
11 and a half, 12 maybe, between the hog lines. And you heard Mike say you can control it, so that the reason to throw weight like that is that it will curl a little bit, but you can hold it straight with sweeping, or you can probably carve it if you needed to. So if you have the option in a game like this, in an event like this, you want to throw the weight where you can do that, where there's a little bit of play and you can kind of joystick that rock down there a little bit. If you throw a little bit more weight,
Yep.
then the carve isn't as effective.
Right.
And if you set it a little bit, it'll never come back. So you see that quiet weight so that they can manipulate it with sweeping.
Whoa!
Yeah, that was an
Whoa.
11.16
All
according to my clock. So And I can attest, as a regular club curler at the Calgary Curling Club, our ice maker Rob Fisk punishes you if you set that rock out. I don't know what he does to his ice and his magic combination, but at the Calgary Club, fair warning to anybody who comes here, if you set it out, it's gone. So release it clean. But it really has been tremendous ice conditions here all weekend. Like I said, the ice crew's just done an amazing job, put a ton of effort into this. So love seeing it. We've seen some real quality shots here.
You don't know how.
So no option here for Karsten. He just has to hope for a miracle and that Mike rolls out or something on his last one here. Just going to hit this on the nose and give Mike the open hit for 2 points.
Yeah, we have seen a couple flashes. It's not impossible, highly improbable, but guy like Mike McEwen with a wide open hit, I'm going to give him 999 times out of 1,000.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was going to say 99 out of 100, but I think that's underestimating his abilities.
Yeah,
so
it probably is.
I better kick it up into the thousands for Mike. So no time wasted there. Quick tap with the broom, and it should be pretty routine for him.
You heard him say board, so same weight
Board.
that he threw on his first
Right.
one, that in the 11 and a half range.
Yep. We'll see how consistent he is to start here. I'll get my watch out again and see.
Keep it clean, boys.
Mike just reminding his team to keep it clean there. A really good reminder for all teams. Doesn't matter what level you play at. Just really like seeing those brooms down
Yep.
at all times.
Clean. Clean. Yep.
And that's what we're hearing the whole way down here. Just a nice clean.
Yeah.
And yep, Mike was bang on with an 11-2.
There you go. Good start for Team McEwen. The deuce in the first end.
Absolutely achieved the objective. Meanwhile, over on sheet 4, Team Dunham from the States started off with a really strong, 4-ender, scoring 4 in the first end. So got Bernath on the ropes early.
Yeah, that's a way to come out of the gate over there for Team Dunham.
Absolutely.
Great start.
Past
Yeah.
the threshold, but just pretty much. Like, to be honest, control is a good weight for runs. You could just throw it there and hold it with sweet. Yeah. Oh. I think you're trying to go half 4. Line's good. Should curl nice for you. It's fine. It's holding now. Now it's holding. Curl. Curl. Line's good. Line's good. Oh, oh, oh. Very nice sweep. Good.
So because of that 2-point lead, we're seeing Team McEwen play a little bit more defensively here, going in with that first rock rather than throwing that guard. And that would be strictly dictated by the scoreboard. Had they only scored 1 there, I think you'd see them throw the guard.
Put
but
the guard up, yeah.
as it stands, perfectly placed first stone there on the top of the button, and Karsten is coming in here with the corner guard. For Team Sturmay, really looking for a deuce in this end. You don't... People, I think, underestimate how much trouble they're in when they're 1 down without the hammer, so you don't want to start that way. You're really looking for a crooked number to go up on the scoreboard
That
here.
guard.
Absolutely, yeah. And Sturmay not getting sucked in. They're playing their game plan. They're going with their guards. So, like you said, they're looking for their deuce and not
Your
worried.
guard.
Despite the fact that that rock is touching top button, they're not worried about that for right now. And lots of rocks to come.
line's good. Can wait on it, though. Clean?
Looking for a tight guard here at Team McEwen, I think, from Dan Marsh.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then.
Oh, they're saying it's in,
Well,
so
then.
a little heavy.
I gotta hope, then. Yeah, that's in.
Yeah. Sounding
Yep,
like it's
yep.
coming in.
Hold it straight. Okay, well, leave some space, I guess.
So a little bit of a mistake there, a little deeper than they wanted, but Sturmay's going to ignore that rock, it looks like, and get behind his guard, which is, well, you threw up the guard, you might as well use it.
Yeah, and again, this is a scoreboard call. If this was a 1-point game, you'd probably see him make a play on those middle, or not probably, but you could see him make a play on those middle rocks.
Yep.
But with the scoreboard being what it is, you're not worried about those yet. You want to get, because if you get this buried, they can't peel the guard and they can't chase it.
Right.
So you get a free rock around the corner guard. If you wait one more rock, then they can play a chase or a peel for free. So this is a more aggressive call, but given the scoreboard, it's the right call.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicely placed there.
Yeah, Vanny.
The teams have been really confident with their draw weights this week, I've noticed. Made a lot of made shots. The front ends really seem to have zeroed in on what that weight is, and haven't heard a lot of panic calls from the sweepers.
It's a testament to the ice conditions in the sense that the more consistent the draw weight is, the more confident everyone's going to feel, the thrower, the sweepers, everybody, because you know what that speed is and it's not changing for you, which is huge for, you know, quality shot making, is to have that consistency in the ice.
Yep. What did you do with your teams, Chelsea, when you didn't have consistent ice conditions? Was it just more communication? Was it?
Yeah, communication becomes a really big factor, and we used to call it learning mode.
Okay.
Because you can't get upset about misses when the ice isn't consistent, because everyone's going to miss.
Yeah.
So it was more just the little quick debrief, like, hey, that's weird. What happened there? Was that a spot that surprised us? Was that a throw? Like, was that just too much set or a little bit soft or whatever? And then just come to a conclusion about why the shot was missed and move forward from there and just keep learning.
Yeah.
Because when the ice isn't consistent, that's just kind of the only thing you can do. And the more patient, the team that stays calmer and more patient usually is the team that wins in those kinds of ice conditions. So that was always a big focus for us when the ice was a bit tricky, was keeping that patience and the communication up.
Right.
Love to roll it here.
I think you can apply that at any level of the game, really. It's
For sure.
Here.
For sure.
Whether
It's
it's recreational, competitive.
well, and even on good ice, it's a good way to approach it.
Yeah.
But it becomes even more important
Just with
on when the ice is a little bit tricky.
Ice conditions,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Honesty's really important there too. I mean, if you did
Yeah.
something, if you maybe pulled the string a little, gave it a little tug, a little push, whatever, set it out, you have to fess up to those sometimes.
Well, and it's huge for, you know, I was playing in Halifax last week, and there was a rock that surprised me a little bit. I was like, that one really curled. I didn't think it would. And my teammate said, oh, no, that was me.
Okay.
Like, I just didn't set it. And I said, oh, okay, it looked like a good throw to me, but it's not my regular team, right? So I've
Right.
only seen them throw a limited number of times. And
Yep.
but her saying that to me saved us from missing another shot, because I would have changed the broom because her rock curled.
Right.
So, and then, yeah, I mean, that's important for everybody. Same thing, where sometimes the person watching you do it doesn't know what you know as the thrower.
Right.
And if you know you did something, you have to tell everybody, or else you'll just miss more shots by correcting for something that you don't need to correct
You
for.
don't
Like,
need to.
oh, I softed that a little bit, so it's going to curl. And if I don't tell anybody that, then we're going to take more ice. And then when it's a good, clean throw, you miss it on the high side. So you have to be having those conversations, and you have to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the Sturmay team looking to play a hit here. I think they're trying, are they trying the double here?
It looks like it.
Yeah, double, and possibly even get a little bit of a, well, you're not really going to get the roll, but they did get the double, so mission achieved. Mike looking to roll away here, just keeping things in the open, doesn't want to let Sturmay have any opportunity to use that guard, so he's going to take the play to the left side of the screen as we're looking at it.
And it'll be decision time for Carson Sturmay. I imagine you might see him throw a draw anyway. around that corner guard, because it's going to be a long roll, and even if you make it, you'll be probably behind the tee line. So probably consideration of throwing a draw around that corner guard, regardless of the result of this one.
Yep.
Shot. It's okay.
Yeah, so you were out on the East Coast last week. How was that experience like?
I was, yeah, it was great. I mean, I love Halifax anyway, so when you get a chance to, and it's the first time I've actually curled right in Halifax, because typically it's, you know, you're going to a slam and it's, you fly to Halifax and you go to drive to Truro or Pictou County or New Glasgow or like a smaller town, right? So that was my first time actually curling right in Halifax, which was awesome. The ice was incredible. And the people are just so much fun, and they had a bunch of stuff going on in the upstairs of the club, sort of like a patch kind of a vibe up there.
Right on.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great event.
Oh, fabulous. I was in, my family and I went to Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia for a vacation this summer, so that was
nice.
A lot of fun, yeah, for sure. Didn't catch any curling. It was the middle of summer, so the clubs were all closed, but certainly enjoyed the time, and happened to have a couple lobster rolls while we were out there.
Yeah,
so
I had one of
did
those.
Did you have one of those?
I
They're
did.
Pretty darn good. You can't ever go wrong with a lobster roll.
No,
so.
you have to have one when you're out there. It's just like a rite of passage. I just ate seafood the whole time I was there. I was so happy.
Because we get such fresh seafood here in Alberta.
Yeah. No, in Alberta I usually stick to beef because, you know, that's the way to go, but the fish is not quite as good.
Can't overthrow it.
I'll catch you a jackfish in Buffalo Lake someday, and I got a cabin there. So
when I was a kid, we have a cabin on Lake of the Woods out in northern Ontario, and I caught a lot of jackfish.
Yeah, for sure.
They're fun to catch.
They are.
Looking for the run back here for Colton Flash. Really good roll made there by Team Sturmay.
Yeah.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 No. Shot.
Great shot. Right where he wanted. Makes the run back, and
a good no sweep call.
You heard them wanting to say hard on that, and
yeah.
Sometimes on ice that's really straight, that can be tough, especially for these guys who are used to ice that curls a bit more. But with weight here, it's not doing much. So you keep thinking you want to sweep it, but if you do, you'll back it up a little bit actually. So when you're making it, you have to not sweep, which feels unnatural.
Right.
you really want to say hard, but you'll back it off if you do. So a good line call there, really well made by Colton. And now for Team Sturmay looking to go around again, but the challenge for them now becomes that it's now Mike's running in his own guard.
Right.
So if he makes this well on his first one, assuming he has to throw the run back again, he can stick it in the house, which creates a little bit of a challenge for Team Sturmay.
Yep.
This one's actually going to come out the other side.
Looks like it's going to poke out a little bit. So just slip behind the tee line and poking out. I'm going to call. You can see what, maybe half a rock. Well,
nah, probably not quite.
Not quite that much.
Not from the left tack. Maybe if you were.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
a
a lefty. A lefty might be able to see half that rock.
But it's definitely there. It's chaseable. So Mike's talking about maybe like a hack weight.
Yep.
But Carson Sturmay doesn't mind this either, because if Mike sticks this there, then he can play like a little freeze tap, and use that for some backing. So you probably will see Mike, if he had the choice, roll this away a little bit. Or I mean, even out doesn't hurt you that much.
In the end of the world, for sure. Yeah, Mike's really comfortable with a 2-point lead here. He's looking to just keep things clean and stay in control. Meanwhile, on our next door sheet, the Dunham team looks like they're in control. They're sitting 3 right now. They don't have hammer, but they do have 3 in the house. So Bernath still chasing and not set up great to score a lot of points. He might be forced to a single in this end. There's 3 rocks to come. The Bernath team's throwing there first, and then there's one rock left each skip after that. So we'll keep you updated.
Good shot there from Mike McEwen, and that was made by throwing the right weight. If he was heavy at all there, because he set that a little bit, you heard him right out of his hand say, whoa, 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 whoa. And then Danmar swept that quite a bit of the ways down to get it to curl. So if he had been heavy at all, that shot's missed. So that's how important it is to get that weight right, because then your sweepers come into play and you can hold it straight, you can make it curl, you can manipulate that line a little bit. So great weight execution there from Mike McEwen.
Yeah, for sure. And this team feels like it's gelled pretty quick. You know, they just this is their first year curling together. I mean, they've obviously know each other from the tour, but it's different when you actually play. And so, great to see them coming together so quickly.
For sure. Helpful that the three of them have played together for so long. Colton and the Marsh brothers have played together for a very, very long time, with a little break in the middle when he went to play with Cooey. But they're very good friends and they played together a lot, so they are very familiar. But anytime you bring, especially as a skip, when you bring in a new skip, the dynamic changes more than if you bring in a player at a different position in a lot of cases, because it's all to do with your strategy. It's to do with what kind of throw they want in certain spots. That sometimes can be a little bit trickier, but they've had no trouble with it so far.
And just knowing certain players' preferences, strengths. Absolutely. I mean, you always have to play to the ice conditions, but
I think I just pick it. It's just
a lot of guys, given all things created equal, some guys prefer the in turn, some prefer the out.
Yeah, definitely. And a tendency, under pressure in a big game, this person tends to be soft in this spot, or they tend to overthrow in this spot, or whatever that is. That comes with playing with people for a long time.
Just time. Time is the only thing that fixes that.
Right, that this team doesn't have yet. I mean, Colton would know that about his two teammates because he's played with them for so long, but Mike doesn't necessarily know those things. So always a little bit of an adjustment in that sense.
Sure. And so Mike will really need to be open to that too. He'll really need to rely on Colton for that information. I'm sure he does, but definitely needs to have that open ear and use as much information as he can.
Even with firm, it'll have a little curl to it. Yeah, I can.
So they're thinking they're going to get some curl out of this for sure, which is great.
Yeah, so playing a straight pick here for Mike.
Firm weight.
Talking about firm, so probably 8.5 seconds or so, 8.5 between the hog lines.
Yep.
Yes! Hard! Hard!
I had a 7-4 on that one.
Ooh.
Nice catch by one of the Marsh brothers there. I'm not going to attempt to identify which one's which. I don't, unfortunately not. Didn't catch the back of his jersey, and they are identical twins. So, but caught the rock as it came off the boards before it bounced back into the other one. So, no controversy there.
Ooh. Yeah, we did pick it pretty much buried.
Yeah, good result there on the back one. They were trying to straight pick that and not touch that back rock, but
sorry, Katie.
The way
they try to do that.
Yeah.
Mike just apologizing there.
Yeah, so the way that it ended up, it makes the blank really, really difficult. It does look like Carson is maybe trying it, based on that ice.
Yep.
But yeah, you just heard Mike apologize to Kyle Daring there, because that was a little bit dirty, a little bit accidental, good luck there for Team McEwen.
They're probably both the same difficulty.
And on sheet number 2, the Bernath team came down just a hair heavy and gave up another steal to the Dunham team. So Dunham goes up 5-0 after 2 ends. Commanding lead there. I will say, Team Dalside, the team I play on in the Wednesday Premium League here at the Calgary Curling Club, we spotted our opponents. Actually, it was Ryan Parent about 3 weeks ago who was in this bonspiel. We spotted him 6 points and then came back to win it. I don't recommend that as a as a typical strategy or a good one to follow. I'm just saying that it's not impossible to come back.
It is not impossible at all.
Not impossible. So.
Really good shot there from Carson Sturmay. That was a lot harder than it looked, and great sweeping as well. They were on that to get it to curl enough to touch that red stone basically the whole way down the sheet, and does get it. So comes away with the blank, which, I mean, he would have preferred a 2, but if you're not going to get a 2, a blank isn't the next acceptable outcome. You really didn't want to be forced to 1 point there, which is why you saw him take on the risk. That was a hard blank. But you really don't want to be forced to 1 there, so it's worth the risk.
Absolutely, yeah. So showing the respect to the McEwen team there for sure is the Sturmay team, just understanding that they really did need to make that blank. McEwen starting things off here. I think he called for the rock to come in again. Didn't quite see the broom placement there.
Yeah, I imagine it would be the same strategy he implemented in the second end.
Yeah, I can't see why he would change that. So,
More work.
what was your biggest
Carl.
comeback, Chelsea?
Carl.
Not that you like to talk about getting down early, but
when I was young, there was a few really big ones, like,
Yeah.
like 8 and 9 nothing. But
Good.
when you're young,
Good.
it's a
Good.
little bit different
Right.
too. I
Good,
think my
good,
most
good, good,
notable
good, good,
comeback
good,
would have been that Scotty's final.
absolutely, yeah. I was kind of thinking about that. Yeah, you
That one was a
versus
bit wild.
Rachel Holman. That
Yes,
was.
yeah.
I remember watching that game. It was a ton of fun to watch. You guys put on a great show.
It was something. It was. I still kind of can't believe we won that game. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, that's for sure the most like notable comeback
No,
I've ever
yeah,
pulled
for
off.
sure. Yeah. Rachel might not want to remember that
no,
one, but
she
that's
probably
okay.
doesn't. Yeah.
That's okay. She's won her fair share of
She's
games
won
too.
plenty.
So,
Yeah.
so I guess we can talk about this one here for a minute. And
Yeah.
I didn't catch. I think I saw Retornez won the slam. I've been here in the Calgary Club broadcasting these games, so I haven't had a chance to keep track of the outside world. But
He did win. Retornez
Retornez
did
won
win.
the slam this weekend, and
Yeah.
and the ladies. What was the finals there?
It's Ha and, or sorry, not Ha, Gim and Homan, and they're I think
Okay.
still playing. It started at 12:30.
Okay.
It was tied. Homan stole one in I think 3 or
Mine's
4 to
good.
tie it 2-2 last I saw, but that was before
Okay.
this game started, so
Okay.
I'm not sure now.
Okay.
Flash, you gotta hit this. Flash, you need to hit it.
So
Hard.
Mike just
Hard.
letting Colton
Hard.
know that
Hard.
he's got to tick that rock.
I think he meant sweep it. He's saying Flash, you got to hit it to
Oh,
get it to
okay,
curl.
to curl.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm like I wasn't quite understanding.
Yeah.
how you wanted it.
No, that was when you say it's the same. Like often you'll hear them when somebody lets a rock go if it isn't positive.
Yeah.
You'll hear hit that.
Okay.
Like just give it a couple brush strokes to set it to get it running on the line that you want.
Ah.
So that would be Mike saying, like Colton saying it's heavy, I don't want to sweep it, and
Right.
Mike saying you have to sweep it.
Yep.
But he's saying you have to hit it. He means sweep it.
Right. Okay. So Sturmay looking to come around the guards. They are the McEwen guards, but nonetheless looking to come around there. Doesn't have a ton to work with here, so. And this one looks like a bit of an overcurl. He's gonna.
Yeah, that one was gone early. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that was. I mean, could have picked up a little bit of debris, but Karsten did yell basically right out of his hand. So my guess is that was more just a little bit of a
Pick
soft
something
release.
up in the
Soft
middle
release,
here.
yeah. A little bit of an underthrow. And
Oh no, Mike thinks it picked though.
oh, okay,
So-
yeah,
Soft
yeah,
release.
they're cleaning it. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, we haven't seen too many picks this week, so or weekend, I guess.
Could be something as small as like a little bit of a footprint, even
Yeah.
though like it doesn't necessarily mean that there was a big piece of debris. It
Nope.
could have just hit a little flat spot in the ice or
You
something.
like this?
Because it didn't pick so egregiously that it
Yeah.
like curled off
I
the
mean, we
sheet or
know
anything.
it.
It just
No.
took the weight off, and they lost the line on it a little bit with that
Yeah.
little bit of a pick there.
It is a better result. Mine's good.
Ooh, just saw a flash from the Dunham
Trim.
team over
Flash.
on sheet number
Flash is
4.
a stone.
He's still in pretty good shape. He's sitting 2 behind the center guard. It's
Stay
not
with-
his.
stay with, it's coming down.
The
Yep. Yep.
the Bernath team does have guards out front,
Good
which
shot.
is what they want,
Beauty.
but slight mistake from Dunham over there. Meanwhile, the McEwen team's put a rock right on the top button, so
Really good draw there from Team McEwen. So you're going to see Karsten Sturmay look to run this back, leave his shooter out there,
yeah.
and kill kill both these reds. Even if you don't kill the back red, it's not the end of the world as long as you
Right.
move it out of away from the center line a little bit.
Yeah. And just ran it by.
Yeah, and rolled the shooter away.
I think we're putting this like here.
Not the result they were looking for there
No.
for sure.
Best
Be
you
a
can do is
little
just a
bit
double
disappointed
peel
for
at this point.
Glenn
Yeah.
Bernath on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Karsten really wanted
Yeah.
to keep that rock anywhere in that
Maybe
center.
Yeah, the more important
halfway.
part of that shot was not killing the back rock. It was leaving your shooter somewhere close to
Exactly.
the center line. So
Yeah.
that's the part that they'll be disappointed about. Not moving that back one isn't the end of the world,
That's right.
but you need to leave your shooter there so that you can run back your own rock. Now Mike McEwen's going to throw a guard up here, and now you're running red onto red again, which is what they were hoping to avoid.
Yep. So I won't say the end's completely lost yet. There's a few rocks to come, but definitely McEwen's in control again.
It's shifted your
Green.
it's shifted your
Line.
goal probably if you're
Yes.
Karsten from getting 2 to blanking.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am
Because
sure.
your
Whoa.
chances of getting 2 now just aren't very good. So
Place
you
this. Gotta place
you
this.
shift gears a little bit and say, okay, we're happy with a blank again, and try to get our 2 and 4.
Yeah, you want it past a little. It's gonna get the triple on us.
Oh. Sorry, folks. You just when you hear Mike's voice and
Mike's doing our job for us as
He
usual.
is.
He's a great person to be doing the commentary on his games because he pretty much tells you everything,
he's pretty honest,
yeah.
isn't he?
and you don't have to do very much. It makes our job easy up here.
No. So apparently there's a triple available over to the Sturmay team right now. We'll see if they can make this.
Yeah, I think they were just playing a double peel there. You
Yeah.
could have run the yellow into those 2 reds if you wanted to, but
Right.
no need to for Karsten because that yellow guard isn't actually really covering that red at all. So
Right.
you're okay with leaving it up there for now.
Yeah. So Mike looking to put the guard just a hair higher.
Yeah.
Stay mostly on that other side of center. Obviously doesn't want to leave a port.
You could go here.
And yeah, you can come in behind
He
as
will
well.
try to bang it and roll this in. I think here's better. Way.
And oh, thanks, Mum. My mum is watching as I figured she would be, and she just said that Gim is up 6-4 over Homan after 6.
Oh,
So
there you go.
there you go. Mums always look out for you.
What's hot?
So that's interesting. You just heard Mike say, "What's hot?"
Go!
And
Go!
so you know
Go,
you
just go,
can't.
Kev!
You got to be
Just go!
specific with your
Go, dive it in
information.
there! Go,
Yeah.
go, 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 go!
That's,
Keep going! Never stop! Never stop!
Something
never
that you'll
stop.
see the top teams do on a different level. Then, to me, that's one of the biggest differences between kind of your top tier slam teams and your B level teams
Mm-hmm.
is the precision of that communication. So, when they say it's a little hot, meaning it's a little heavy, I mean it's good to share that information. But for Mike to make the right line call, he needs to know: does that mean a tight guard or does that mean top
Right.
8 foot?
Right.
Because that's 2 very different line calls for
Right.
him. So just the precision of that communication being up at that top level, you won't hear the top guys have to ask that question very often. I'm actually surprised that he had to,
Right.
because that's what you want to avoid. It should just be, you don't need to be. I also see teams often, especially young teams, right out of the person's hand, they're going, T-line or back 4. You don't need to be that precise that early, and you're probably
Okay.
not right.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
you just need to say weight's close, it's heavy, or it's light early.
Okay.
But then as you get, like, by that point, they were 2/3 of the way down the sheet. By that point, you need to be giving him an exact spot of where that rock is
Okay.
going to go.
Is that something you do a lot in your debriefs after the games? Is go
Why
over
don't we
calls
just
like
ignore
that
it?
and just reminding players, hey,
go
I
right
need you to
here.
be more accurate here.
It's dead
Yeah,
berry.
for sure. You talk about that one after the game
What
and
do you
say,
think?
like, I'm having to ask you where it is.
It's-
We need to
It's
ramp
batter
that
guard.
communication up, or you'll talk about one that you mismanaged and
Right.
what you could have done differently
Yeah,
on the
I agree.
communication
Right here.
standpoint. Like, being good at
Right
throwing
here.
the rock is one thing, but
Right here.
you have to be dealing with whatever it is that you have, and that's what the best teams do, and that's why they win. No one's going to be perfect all the time with the weight and the line, but how you manage what you have is what wins you games.
Right.
So there almost always there would be part of that in the debrief to talk about what you
Mhm.
could have done better from a shot management standpoint once the rock's been
Okay.
let go.
Clean. Brush
And again,
down.
those are just the little
Hey.
things that take you from that tier 2 level to the tier 1 in the
Placed
Grand
it.
Slam circuit.
Absolutely.
Kev, you gotta go. Kids picking! Jesus. Hard! Curl! Good.
Mike
Oh, man.
thinking they got a bit of a pick there. I didn't see a huge jump, but we didn't have the greatest line from our perspective.
It's bad here. We gotta keep brooms down. Like
Okay, Mike thinking that there's some funny stuff going on in the ice, so just reminding the guys to keep the brooms down.
And that's the same
we
spot where
were-
we saw the pick for Team
like,
Sturmay early in
you
the
gotta
end.
be,
So
like, more of a press down.
they're
because
thinking
what
there's
it's
a flat
picking
spot
Could be
there
a
or
flat
something.
spot
yeah.
there, yeah.
It's not debris.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go. So he,
So
and that's
light
why he's
clean
saying
one,
brooms down.
please.
So it's a flat spot or a footprint or
Right.
something.
Yep.
So it's not just a broom lightly down like an easy clean. It's like
Right.
it's like a plow. Like you need to put some pressure on that to help that rock through that spot
Right.
without it being affected by whatever's going on there.
Right.
Yeah, like it's hitting foot marks or whatever. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, footmarks. So somebody could have had warm shoes or something possibly, and
Well, and that could also be, with the plant going down this morning, the ice maybe is a little bit softer and that kind of thing too. Like
right.
those little things can happen from stuff like that as well. So
Yeah, for those of you who didn't or
You
tried
wanna
to
be
tune
here
into our
closer
morning
to this.
broadcast, about 10 minutes before our game was supposed to start, we had a significant power outage in the Calgary area, so it was very dark. I forgot how dark it can be in a curling club when you turn off all the lights. We don't have windows in curling clubs, so we were in the dark for a bit. It was about power was out for an hour, so definitely, like I said, the ice crew did their best to keep things stable, but we may be seeing a little bit of the impact of that in this game.
Well, just especially if you didn't see it all week, right? So
Right,
it
yeah.
just would make some sense that maybe that has just softened up the ice a hair, and so
Just a
now
little
like
bit,
those
yep.
little footprints, little marks that haven't been an issue all week, that with that little
Yeah,
bit
it's a
softer
greasy
surface, all of a
fast
sudden are showing themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a missed run back there from Kyle Daring, unfortunately for Team Sturmay. Now Mike has a chance to make this really good. It's looking like some trouble for Team Sturmay potentially. You probably see Karsten throw some kind of run double if this is made properly.
Let's see how quickly they get the brooms
I
down
liked
and
it.
keep them down. So, yeah, brooms are down right away, and like you said, Chelsea, both of them just
Line's
putting
good.
a bit of pressure. They're not pounding it.
Yeah, but you see, that's not just a
Line's
clean.
good.
Like Dan Marsh is
No.
on that rock. He's got
Yeah.
some pressure on his broom
Line's good.
there to make sure it
Get
doesn't.
the height.
It
Top
isn't
eight.
affected by
Line's
whatever
good.
little footprint
Doesn't need
mark
to
they've
curl.
seen
Yeah.
come into play here.
And true to its throw, it came right in pretty much where they expected, I think.
Yeah, you can get both, but
Yeah, it's a good shot, but this is there for Karsten. You could make
Mhm.
this run double and sit, and still probably leave the run rock mostly buried. So
I hardly feel it.
really big opportunity here. This is a hard shot. It's a reasonably
Definitely.
long run back, but if he were to make it, you bring 2 or 3
I
into play.
noticed early on.
As a career
don't know
lead,
who it was, but I saw
the long
footprints
run
on
back
one
is never
side.
my favorite
Like,
shot.
oh,
I don't throw a lot of them. That's why I play lead.
haven't seen that, so.
But that's what Carson gets paid the big bucks for, so.
Saying, oh, somebody just has hot feet, but no, it's softer.
Yeah, so there, Mike agreeing with my theory that maybe the whole the surface is just a little bit softer. So it's
hair
not even
softer.
it's not even that it's picking something up. It's just the track, that whole path is just a little bit soft, and so then if you don't have a broom down, the rock will curl and die on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And just a hair wide on that.
Well, so he's got
Missed the run back completely, and that
it's
was
an
the danger of
extremely
that
hard
shot.
chase
But
on this side right now.
so
Well,
where,
yeah, but then you get him in the triple.
where
and he
can't
could-
Mike
He
go
could
on this?
probably make it over top.
Yeah, he's mostly concerned
Just
about the
guard it.
triple.
Right.
Make him throw the run. He makes it. He gets. It's never, I don't think it's ever. Well, no. Well, it has to tick this first.
So just looking at what Karsten might have for more than 1 point.
Right.
Is there any advantage to like coming right here? Yeah, and he probably just throws this weight. Okay, guard it up. Yeah. Make it reasonably high. This will curl, by the way. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I want it right here. You don't even need to cover that middle. It's just got to be in the way. It's got to be in the way here on the outside, right? Yeah, I don't need to touch the line. Like
Yeah, no, you don't want to come that tight
You can
to
leave
the
a hole.
center line.
There's no shot through the hole anyways.
Yeah, so Mike,
Yeah.
that's the key there, was what he just said. So usually you'd think you wouldn't want to leave a hole, but the hole won't help you. You're
Right.
always, if you're Mike McEwen, you're always stealing one if he plays a shot through the hole. So not worried about leaving a hole, worried about guarding.
I don't want
They
it to
think the easiest
overcurl.
shot for one is a quiet tap on
Yeah.
that
It
back
literally just
red
needs to
stone.
guard the
Shot
forefoot.
stone. Yep.
So he's just trying to guard the path of that. You heard him
Yeah.
just say, just needs to guard the forefoot. So you're looking for this to be kind of biting
Just
edge of
needs to guard
four
the
line,
forefoot.
Mm-hmm.
like a rock
Right,
from the
just-
center line.
Yep.
So that Karsten can't throw that out turn tap with like a quiet weight.
He'll play the run.
Yeah.
then, but that's fine too. Let's get the line. Yeah, this will curl.
So Mike just confirming that he believes in the curl there and that it'll come far enough over. Again, brooms down.
Line's good.
And like you said, pressure being applied to that broom.
Go
It's
ahead,
not
Dan.
just a light.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan. Hard, Dan.
Starting to work it now, looking for
Hard,
the curl.
Dan.
Danmar sweeping this to get it to finish.
Yeah.
Hard. Hard. Good.
I think that does the
And
trick.
that does the trick, yeah.
That's
Well,
the trick.
You can't make that now with
I
quiet
got a
enough
little
weight.
nervous.
Not with
with
quite
my
enough
set.
weight. No, I agree.
So you
Yeah.
could get through that hole if you want and pick either one of those, the back one or
Yeah.
the top one, with, like something heavier than a board.
Yep.
But there's no tap to score one there, which is
No.
what
Yeah.
was the
I'm-
goal
yeah,
for
I'm
Mike
in there.
McEwen.
Absolutely.
Is there anything off those outside wing?
Yeah,
Guards.
Mike looked at that and it is there. I think you could actually get two out of this, but you could also give up a steal of two
It's
pretty
two
easy.
pretty
So
quick.
it's a really hard shot for two. Like you're basically playing to just chisel the back side of that top red and
Mhm.
redirect your run rock onto the back one, and then that top red rock, you need it to carry like 5 feet out
Yep.
the side straight sideways, because if it goes backwards at all, if you hit it too thick, then it'll jam on that
Right.
yellow
On
rock.
the
So
yellow rock out in the 12-foot.
it's there, it's possible, I think, but it's very difficult.
Pretty low percentage shot.
Yeah, but he doesn't have anything else, so it's one of those where if you're Team McEwen, you're happy, but you almost made it too good, because now you're forcing him into the shot that could be
Into-
for two.
Could be for two. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Hitting one of them. There's a spot where you can get two.
Would you ever concede the single and just
definitely
draw down, try and cut him down to one with the
You-
draw?
You could, but with
No.
the scoreboard the way it
It
is, I
is.
don't
If
think
he
you
hits
can
the
afford
yellow,
to.
Mm, true.
If it was tied or even a 1
Oh, it
point
might,
difference,
yeah.
then probably
Maybe
you
you just do that.
you could draw, or you could just throw a bomb through the hole and
right.
just
Yeah. pick
kill
your
one of
out.
them. I think that
Right.
would be my choice
Maybe
versus
that's
the draw, because I
easiest.
think it's easier. But
Right.
given the scoreboard, I think you have to try something to score.
Right.
And because this has the potential of being for two, I think it's worth the risk, because if you were ever to somehow get two out of this, the whole game could change. That would be a
That's,
huge momentum shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As the opposition, you gave that up. Yeah, that's a crushing blow of.
Yeah, yeah,
Really? I left him that and he made it. Did
exactly, yeah. Oh, it's falling off
he?
on him.
Fell. Well, got the top one at least.
Yeah, not a
So
bad result.
Cut him down to one. All right. Meanwhile, over on sheet 4, the Bernath team did score a deuce in the third end, so we got a 5-2 score there. So Dunham still in control of the game, but definitely Bernath getting that deuce back that they desperately needed.
Yeah, just the eye test told me it was in. Yeah.
So the team's just having a moment to take a
Yeah, we can still guard.
quick break here and have a chat between ends.
Yeah. Try to stock them. So top 4.
Coming up with a definite game plan there. You know, and that's something else you see these top teams doing is they go into every end with a plan.
Absolutely, and that plan isn't being made up right now. Like Mike saying that isn't a decision that's being made now. They already knew that that's a conversation they would have had. In any situation, generally you kind of know what you're going to play.
Right.
The team has to be on the same page about that kind of stuff. So in this case, it's pretty straightforward because the scoreboard is what it is.
Yep.
So you're going to see, you heard Mike say, try to stack them. So they'll throw 2 in the house. They'll either throw 1 in and then a guard and then the second one in after that, or 2 in and then guard it. Either way, the biggest thing is having them all lined up on center line if you can.
Right.
So the first one top button, the second one kind of full 8 foot.
Yep.
And then a guard not tight enough that they can hit and roll in off of it, but tight-ish guard, 2.5 kind of depth.
Yep.
All straight lined up because you know that Karsten Sturmay is throwing at least 1 corner guard, probably 2, and then going around it. So by stacking your rocks in the middle, you just give him something that eventually he has to deal with all those reds in the middle before he can score multiple points.
It's probably going to take him at least 2 rocks to jiggle those around.
Yeah, well, that's what you hope anyway.
Yeah. And sometimes you line them up the wrong way, and then you let them get rid of them all with 1 rock.
Right.
But they achieved the objective, came down, and the important thing is not to slip behind the tee line there. Really can't be deep on that first rock from McEwen. They weren't, so. Sturmay throws up the corner guard.
Interesting that they went to the out-turn side. They played that in-turn in the second end quite a bit, and it looks like it moved. I'm surprised that he switched it, but he may be throwing 2 guards on different sides,
right?
Which would then make some sense.
Okay,
I think if he was throwing 2 guards on the same side, he would have chosen the in-turn just because they already knew it.
Yeah, just because they've done that before. Did you have a preference, or do you have a preference of stacking on guards on the same side or splitting them?
I like them on the same side.
You do?
I think it's easier to avoid a double peel option.
Whoa.
But we always will throw the first one. We try to throw the first one tight, and if it's a little bit light and it's kind of halfway, then we'll throw it on the other side too, because you just don't have room.
Yeah.
But the goal for us always is the first one tight, and then if it is made, then the second one long on the same side.
Right. My skip asked me which am I throwing, the 1 or the 3, and I said I'll let you know when the rock lands.
Yeah.
Just put the broom down.
Sometimes it's that kind of a decision.
Sometimes it's. Look, he's been curling with me for 20 years. He knows what he's got.
Yeah.
There's
Should
no
expect
surprise.
it by now.
There's no surprises. I don't even know why he asked the question anymore. So, yeah, Sturmay doing exactly what you talked about, Chelsea, just putting them right across from each other. So there shouldn't be, later on, you can't double peel them. They're in the free guard zone right now, but later on in the end, there shouldn't be a double peel off those 2 anyways.
No, really well placed. But the other reason that I don't love throwing them on separate sides is now your draw to the 4 foot is really, really hard.
Yes.
Because you've kind of taken away both paths to the 4 foot. So that's another thing I like about them on the same side is as much as you want to get 2 or 3 here, you need to be able to score.
Yes.
And if you don't have a draw to the 4 foot, that can get trickier. So
Looks into me.
that's another argument for throwing them on the same side.
Right. Yeah, really frustrating when you've choked yourself off from your
Exactly,
one remaining shot.
And like right now, if you had to draw the button, they're both really hard. The out turn's probably there.
Yep.
The in turn's not. It's going to overcurl the
Yep.
button if you get by that guard.
Yep.
So you've just made it a little bit tough on yourself in that sense. But if you're Team Sturmay at this point, you're not thinking about your shot for 1 right now. You're worried about setting up a multiple. So
you're still looking for 2 or more here.
Yeah.
So McEwen doesn't quite have them lined up in a straight line. Sturmay's going to jiggle things around here. And I don't, is he even looking necessarily to completely get rid of these? He doesn't really care if they stick around the back, does he?
no, I think based on the broom, he's throwing enough weight to kill
He is.
one of
Yeah,
them.
no.
But
Full.
you don't need to. You could throw this quiet, and you'd actually be pretty happy if you bumped that back red sort of behind that corner guard, because then it gives you something to freeze to later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, rocks are Sturmay's friend at
All
the
the
moment.
rocks are Karsten's friend, yes. Mike hates the rocks. Karsten loves them right now.
So Karsten made 2 of them go away. Like I said, I might have played just a hair less weight there and tried to keep a couple more things around.
I'm with you. I think that was early to throw that kind of weight.
Yeah. But sometimes you just need a clean open house.
Well, and they've just been so that's
right?
the other side of
Yep.
it, right? They've just been struggling a little bit with the rock
Hard.
placement. They've had some chances to
Really gotta go.
make a good draw and put the pressure on Team McEwen, and they
Hard.
haven't really been able to do it. So
Hard.
it might
Whoa.
just be a
Hard. Whoa.
conscious decision for
Yep,
him to
yep,
keep it a little
yep,
bit
whoa.
simpler,
Right.
and try to set up a more open
That's a good shot.
2 rather than play that and try to bring a 3 into play potentially, because it's just a bit of a more precise shot.
Right. Absolutely. So looking for just, so there he's just calling kind of back 8, maybe back 12 kind of weight. Just a little tap.
Yeah, you want to push this far enough that your second shot,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to remove it from the house.
No.
Considering freezing now instead.
Or even just the pure freeze. Yeah.
I like this. It's still early enough in the end that you don't need to be worried about being second just yet.
Right.
And if you tap it back, the way he called originally, your Team McEwen is probably always going to have a chase to eliminate your yellow. But by locking this on as just a freeze, it gives you the opportunity to delay the removal of that yellow rock.
Yep. And a little hot for the freeze. He's going to get just a bit of a rollover. Didn't want to quite roll off that much. The weight was fine, just wanted his line a little tighter than that.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice and
the
fast here.
weight was a little heavy for the freeze. It's still not
Right.
a bad weight,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
they didn't ice for
Yeah,
that.
you
Right.
feel like you're
Yeah,
throwing back
exactly.
line, I guess.
That was right in between
He's
both
straight here too.
Yeah.
both shots. You could have taken either or, but
Interesting to me that they didn't try to carve it. I would have been
Yeah.
I would have been trying to get that to curl.
yeah,
Back line, just through.
because it was in that weight zone where carving
what-
would have been effective. I
Yeah,
think.
the weight's close enough, and if that curls any more, like tapping it that much is
Right.
fine. If it
Yeah,
curls
totally.
another inch,
Yep.
because then you're kind of edge to edge and you set up the jam.
Yeah.
Some teams don't believe, like they think that you're better off to just leave it because they think
Yep,
that the
whoa.
carve still
Whoa.
adds speed.
Oh,
I
okay.
personally don't believe that. I
Clean.
think if anything, it takes it off.
Yeah.
Clean.
So to me, I would have
Curl.
tried it, but
Curl.
I think that's again, it's a decision that different teams make based
Curl.
on what they believe and what they've tested, as far as the
Curl.
effect of the carve on the speed.
Right.
Very nice.
So Karsten talking about hack weight here. Looking to roll over to center and push things in the back a bit.
Yeah, it would be great to hit this kind of. I mean, if you make the roll, you're making this. If you leave both of those other reds behind the corner guard, you're pretty happy about that. Set up
Yeah.
a little pocket.
Yeah.
Just kind of chip it right into the corner of that red that's buried, and split them both and leave them kind of back
Mm-hmm.
4, back 8 depth, and roll in front of this one on the center line, and then you have a bunch of stuff to freeze to behind
Right.
that corner guard.
I'm just taking a moment to think about it here. Yeah, I think they're going back to Karsten's original call. Mike having a little snack in the background there. Our microphone picked that up. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. The hit you just heard was from the Bernath team over on sheet number 4. So what am I seeing over there?
Looks like Dunham is sitting 1. It's hard to
One.
tell who's second. They're looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, just missed the. I think they just overcurled a hair on our sheet and just missed jiggling both those red rocks and didn't get the roll that he wanted either. So
Force them to play the double, I guess.
Curled an inch too much there for Kyle
Yep.
Daring.
yeah,
Sure. Just don't wanna roll
Kyle's the
so
import
far
on
that
this
you give 'em
team.
this.
that's right. Yeah,
Hails from Manitoba. And if
Which is
you
fine.
search his name on YouTube, you'll see one of the most ridiculous, amazing curling shots you have ever seen in your life. That
Yeah?
he made at a.
Yeah.
Don't even know if it was a Canadian junior or if it was a Canada Games or something. It's unbelievable.
Oh, okay, I'll have to check that one out. I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's very impressive.
I'm surprised
Whoa.
our general manager Bob Genoway hasn't written about that in his weekly newsletter. He always
Ah.
liked to slip a
Oh.
Manitoba bias into his newsletters. So
I'm with him
Bob's-
on that one.
yeah, I know you guys got the buffalo tattooed on your hearts there.
Yeah,
and
we do.
Okay. Good sweep.
So
Thought that was maybe gonna.
have to give a congratulations
that's
to you and your Winnipeg Blue Bombers for making it to
solid.
the Grey Cup
Solid, maybe
next
match
weekend.
I
So
think it's more the weight.
Yeah, it should be a fun one.
as
Just
a
the weight.
die-hard Rider fan, a little hard for me to say that, but I will be a good Canadian, and I will
Yeah, it doesn't
congratulate
take
you
much.
and cheer you on in the Grey Cup next week. So.
Well, we appreciate that because I know it's hard from a Riders fan.
It is a fun rivalry, though. So.
It is a very fun rivalry, I agree.
I haven't had a chance to attend a game at Canadian Stadium or the new stadium in Regina there either, but someday I'll get out there.
Yeah, the Winnipeg one is pretty impressive. It's
Yeah?
it's a really nice
Nice facility.
facility for sure. Traffic's a bit of a pain because it's on the university campus. There's only one road in and one road out that you can
okay.
use, so it's a bit of a nightmare in that sense.
Right,
But it's a beautiful
right.
building.
You
This
get
for
back
sure.
home much in the summer? Or?
Yeah, I try to go back every summer. We still have our cottage out in Lake of the Woods.
Mhm.
So my family, actually, my immediate family all
No,
lives in
too.
Calgary now. My sister and my brother-in-law and their kids and my parents.
Oh, wow.
They're all in Calgary now, which is selfishly great for me.
It
but
doesn't have anything on
but
this
yeah,
on the
we
inside, does
still
he?
always go out to the lake in the
Yeah,
summer.
they're
So
really
I
close,
get back
but,
usually for at least a couple weeks. It was a little bit shorter this summer
Well, he
because
has
I
a
was
double off this.
out in Scotland at Colin Hodgson's wedding.
Oh, right.
In the month that we had the cottage in July, so
Like,
so
me
my
guarding
trip was a
doesn't
little bit
change that
shorter, but
much.
worth it because that was a really fun trip too. But yeah, usually a couple weeks every summer at least, and then often for curling. Like I'm
Right.
I'm playing in Morris in a couple weeks, so
Okay.
you're back home and I get to see some family and
Cool,
friends and
that's
stuff.
cool.
Awesome. Good
He has
stuff.
a double though.
What's Colin up to this year? Is he curling? I can't. No.
He's not curling.
He's
No, we were
done.
hoping to play some doubles, but we've had to
I
move our
just hate
schedule around a little bit. So
hate
hopefully in the
Okay.
new year we'll get an event or two in.
Oh,
But
good.
yeah, no,
I'm
he's
not worried about that.
he is not.
Okay,
He's
if I guard,
enjoying
he
newlywed life and
now he's under the
working
guard.
2 jobs and
Well, being a working guy myself,
Top
I
12?
understand, and having 2 jobs, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's only 24 hours in a day, so.
yeah.
But great to hear that you and Colin are going to try and continue down the mixed doubles path.
No,
Always
definitely,
enjoy
yeah.
watching you guys.
Pump this under.
Yeah, we have fun and it's
Yeah.
it's easy. He's one of my best
Pump
friends,
that
so
underneath.
it's time we get to
Yes, you
spend
can.
together because he lives so far away that I don't
Right.
get to see him without curling. Like this
It
year's been
could go
weird
straight
because
in.
usually I
In
get to see him
order
at
to go
slams
straight
and
in,
stuff,
you
and
gotta
now
be here, like,
now there's none of that. So it's a little bit
Well, you
trickier.
can
But if we
come
could
from
get some
here.
doubles events in, that would be
the first
helpful.
one comes
Awesome.
down,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm with you.
Was it Colin who
what do we wanna
delivered the
place this though?
charcuterie board at the Scotties
Like
a
just
few
forcing
years
the
ago?
flow
Yes,
back?
it was. Coach Colin.
Coach Colin and his charcuterie board.
Yeah, he had us eating really well. There was grape juice and everything, and then we
I
had
don't know what he
sushi
did.
at another game. He ordered sushi.
Holy
to
smokes,
buy
look at
the
that.
Yeah,
Taking it to the next level.
yeah.
Wow.
He
Okay.
upped the
Just
food
I don't
game
want
for
him to
sure.
make
Game
it,
for sure.
right?
There you go. Colin is actually a former
This.
employee of the
So I
Calgary
need to
Curling Club.
protect
He
this
did
side of it.
spend a season or 2 with us here.
let
It
it
was
breathe.
quite a few years ago now.
Well, you might
I can't
freeze.
remember the exact years, but did spend a little bit of time when he was here in Calgary working for us. So
Yeah, sounds about right.
Put it right here. What's wrong with top 12?
Just trying to decide. This is a good problem to have for Team McEwen.
Mhm.
You're sitting pretty nicely here, and
Not
just trying to
pounding
figure out
anymore.
the best place to put this rock. It's going to be somewhere in the rings. Just a matter of how deep and do you want it
Yeah.
dead covering that, or do you want to offset it a little bit, or what that looks like.
It's not really natural to
yeah,
play the
you can't just bring yourself to throw it through.
where I wanna get to.
Kevin Martin style. Yeah.
Kevin Martin style, no. There's a few Canadians still reeling over that one. I think there's a few debates and some salt and pepper shakers on the table. Probably still talked about that shot at some point, but I don't know that anybody in Canada will ever do that again. But looks like they elected to go just kind of full 12, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I think that top 12. Yeah.
Top 12, center line-ish,
Yeah, essentially a guard, but
Yeah.
but just in the house.
but in the house. And
Just don't want to be deep enough that you leave a double where Karsten can sit even second or third shot.
right.
So that's why you're hearing him say top 12 versus kind of top 8, full 8 is
Yeah.
where you might get into some danger. You leave him a double and roll, and he sits second and third, and then maybe has a shot for multiple points.
Right, yeah.
It's got room. Top 12, line's good. Line. Line. Top 12. Top 12. That's a good spot.
So just
that
a
spot.
hair shorter than what they originally
real
called,
good.
but Mike is really liking it, so not bad overall.
That's what we wanted. So I gotta play something back and short.
Hear Mike saying line on that call, and that's back to what we were talking about before with the precision of the shot management stuff, where in past years and still sometimes with kind of the B and C level teams, you'll hear them the skip just screaming hard. But what are you saying hard for? It's not your job to call weight. So are we saying hard because it looks light to you? Are we and then there's just miscommunication. So when he's saying line, they can just be more precise with it then, because he's saying you need to sweep for line.
Right.
And it's still up to the sweepers to sweep, to figure out the speed and adjust accordingly for the speed. You'll also see them change the angle that they sweep at a little bit, depending on if they need to go for line to keep it straight, but they also need to go for weight. It'll be a little bit more of like a plow.
Right.
If they're trying to keep it straight, you'll see probably a little bit more of an angle, certainly on the carve side. So if you're trying to get it to curl, but you also need to go for weight, you won't do it. You won't knife it. You won't do a full carve, because that doesn't add any weight. If anything, it takes some off. So you'll see them just do kind of a plow on a maybe 20-degree angle, 20-30-degree angle. So that's how precise it's gotten with that in-shot communication and that back and forth between the sweepers and the line caller is just to that level. So now you'll hear them say line instead of hard.
Right.
And you'll also hear Mike say distance.
Okay.
If the line's good, and the sweepers are sweeping, he'll just say distance, which is a slightly different sweeping technique.
Yep. And they'll have worked on this together as a team in practice and really iron that out so that it's almost automatic, because sometimes it is that fast that you need the broom at that angle, at that pressure, at that speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's that old commercial, that curling commercial that was quite good, that says, they say football's a game of inches. I wish we had inches. And
right.
You don't. You don't. You have millimeters. So, one extra brush stroke can be the difference.
Yep.
So that's why it's required to have the precision of that communication be at that level.
Yeah. My team always talks about 3 licks of the broom. It feels like if we had 3 more licks of the broom, we'd scrape by or got through the port or whatever, right?
It's true, though. Like it can come down to, it can be that small a difference.
Yeah.
Well, I don't be very difficult double. It's actually not easy for me to.
So just looking over on sheet
Don't I throw the
4,
intern,
I
though?
see the Dunham team throwing the first rock, which means they scored in the 4th end. They haven't put the score up yet, but being that they're throwing first rocks, I'm going to guess that they scored at least 1 point to the deal. So we'll give you a quick update for everybody on YouTube and all of our Philadelphia American friends. Scores going up now.
Yeah.
And yes, it was 1 point in the 4th end. So it is currently 6-2, a commanding lead for Dunham over Bernath after 4 ends. But I won't count the Bernath team out of it completely yet. We've seen some comebacks in this Bonspiel, and definitely this club.
Lots of game left. It's a
sure.
deuce force situation. You're close at the end. So
yeah, so they're not shaking hands yet.
So Mike looking to come through this hole and hit that yellow. I'm not sure, they were talking about where they wanted to roll to. I'm not sure what they landed on.
It's just a hack weight shot.
Yeah, just calling hack weight. Yeah, so Mike's not trying to be fancy here. He's just get rid of the yellow rock.
It's a little hard to nose it. I like that ice. Yeah? Oh, no. Clean. Yep.
Mike calling for the sweep.
Yep. Yep.
Guys putting all their effort into
Whoa.
it now.
Yep. Whoa. Curl. Curl. Is it?
Not sure if he moved that far enough, if that yellow is still
I'm
second
not
shot or
sure.
not.
I was trying to chip the yellow a little more.
Oh, okay. There we go. Might
That was
say
an audible though. That wasn't the initial call.
Wasn't the
So
initial call,
yeah,
okay.
because of the way it was coming down there,
Right.
he audibled the have it like he was saying curl.
Yep.
To get it to punch
Yeah,
that yellow a little bit further.
Pretty good.
It's something I've just kind of clued in on there is that Kevin's holding the broom for Mike in this game. I haven't paid too close attention to their previous games here. I don't know. Was Colton holding the flash or Colton holding the broom? Sorry, holding the flash. Holding the broom. Colton Flash holding the broom.
No,
For Mike earlier in the season, or has
No.
it been this lineup
It
right
was
from the
Phil.
it's
start?
been this lineup from the start.
Okay.
And they talked about it, but Colton is just such a good sweeper that
Yeah, you're right.
it's hard to put him in the house. I know he's skipped the last couple of years, but I think smart move by them to let him sweep. He's so powerful, and what he can do with the broom, you know, you're just going to make so many more shots. So
Right.
they decided to go with it that way, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It was extremely difficult to make it the way you think. I think you have to throw a bomb, hit it thick, and push it down. Or maybe, I don't know. Nah, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's not there. Flash is better with these than I am. And he's the guy who can throw them hard.
Mike giving a shout out to his teammate there, and
And once again, doing our job for us.
yeah, absolutely.
Talking about, because the double's not that hard to make, but what happens to that red rock is the question. You need it to not push over onto that yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a little bit careful with that. So either you hit it really thin and try to push it kind of through that hole, or Mike's saying if you throw it really hard and try to hit it super thick and come onto the red and push it kind of straight back.
Oh, it picked.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Picked on them. Oh, boys, it's soft
But-
out there.
So that's that same side of the sheet.
That went
Yeah.
from thin to thick, like. Oh, like it moved. It jumped 4 inches or something. Quick.
so steal a one or score
Oh,
steal a
that-
one from
steal a
McEwen.
one, yeah.
Steal a
All
one
the
from
picks have been
McEwen
on
there.
that side too. Wow. They actually probably got too warm. Yeah.
So we're just kind of talking about the
Yeah.
temperature out on the
That
ice shed.
side, there's been 3 or. Oh yeah, it picked like moved this much all of a sudden on a firm waiter.
Yeah, so they're talking about Carson's last one. It sounds like he was
Well, let's keep
close to
throwing
making
damn
the called
draws on
shot,
this
but
side.
but it hit one of those soft spots
Yeah.
on that side of the sheet and jumped over on him.
So McEwen with a strong 4-0 lead as we go into end 5 here. And like I said, gave you the update from the Dunham Bernath game. They are 6-2 in the 5th end on sheet number 4 as well.
Bud.
So Mike, sounds like he's done this before. Just calling for the top button.
Fourth end break. Fourth end break.
Looks like some of the players have elected to take a bit of a 4th end break. We don't have an official 4th end break in this Bonspiel, but if the players wanted to take a moment, they could. So. In the hack
Top
now
button.
and ready to go. Top button.
Line's nice. Curl. 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 I like the line. Come on, bring it in the center.
Mike liking the line.
There we go.
Just asking the team to bring it right to center.
That's good. We can tap that. Throw.
Just a hair shorter than what he called, but in the zone, so no problem there. Carson's going to throw up the corner guard here. I wonder if there's a better way to describe that other than throw up the corner guard. You think I'd watched enough curling games on TV, I had to learn something from guys like Kevin and Cheryl Bernard and Russ Howard and Vic and a few others, but
Tap it up. T-line.
so Mike just looking for a little tap here. He'd like to get a little better placement on that. Calling T-line weight.
Again, the more important part here versus the tap is the line.
Right.
You want to get these stacked. So
Yeah.
make sure your weight's close and the line should get there. But if you had to sacrifice one for the other, you'd rather have it frozen lined up than tapped on a bad angle.
Yep, for sure.
Whoa, line. Hey, curl and go then. How light is this? Straight. Yeah, it's not enough weight. Well, yep.
Okay, so McEwen
Relatively lined up.
just a hair short, but relatively lined up. Ed over curled on him just a hair more than he wanted. So Mike generally keeping the line. It did over curl a hair on him, but
It's pretty close. It's
yeah, it's in the zone.
Yeah, just a little bit light by the look of it, so it
Yeah.
makes sense that it over curled a hair. But again, that's the pro side miss. If you tap it too far, it's worse.
Right. Karsten not worrying about those. He's going pretty much perfect straight across from each other
Right there.
guards. Mike now going to the not super tight, but just a nice 3 guard on the center line.
Yeah, the big consideration on this one for not wanting to go too tight is that chisel and roll behind the corner guard. It's sort of like a tick shot.
Right.
Easy on the line.
Lisa Weagle is the best I've
Go
ever
ahead,
seen at
go
it.
ahead,
But
yep.
we used to play it a lot
Line.
too before there was a no tick rule, and now
Right.
Whoa.
now you can't play it early, but
Whoa.
you could play it now. So if you're a little bit too tight, then you'll see Karsten's team throw
Go.
like a
Come on,
backline
Dan. You gotta go, buddy.
light
Gotta
hack
go down.
kind of weight.
Hard, Dan.
And
Hard.
chisel
Yep, bring it
that
across. Bring it across.
middle guard, roll their
Good
shooter in behind a guard, and give themselves a double guard on the other side
other
with the
side.
red rock and the yellow rock. So you have to make sure, if you're a team McEwen there, that the guard is long enough that they can't make that, which they did. So
Yep.
back in the day, you would have said that what you don't want is a long guard, but now that's
Now
the
the-
pro side miss is a longer guard versus a tighter one, because that shot can change everything if you left it for Karsten and they made it well.
Yep.
It's a 2 or a 3 almost automatically.
Interesting. Yeah, this no-tick rule has really changed. It's pretty revolutionary change in the game. Are you in favor of it? Do you?
I am in favor of it, but I think like a corner guard tick is easier than a center guard tick.
Right.
So what I don't like about it is you've now put, like, to me, when we went from 4-rock rule to 5-rock rule, you put the power back in the hands of the team with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Where in 4-rock rule, it actually was beneficial to not have the hammer,
Okay.
to get your 2 free rocks
Right.
that can't be hit.
Yep.
Now we've shifted it back to the team with the hammer, which is what it should be. The team with the hammer should have the power.
Right.
But by allowing
this?
corner guard ticks and not center guard ticks,
Think
you
so.
shift it back again the other way to the team
Okay.
without the hammer. So I think
Don't wanna hook this,
there just needs to
really.
maybe be no ticks at all, or there needs to be another line or some
Yeah, I
spots
mean,
or
that's
something
good
on the
too.
corner guard line that they can't be ticked off of.
Okay. So
'Cause
kind of like using the mixed double buttons.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it's touching that, then you can't tick it or something like that,
Ah.
because the corner guard tick is easier because you have so much more
Yeah.
space to push the
Right.
rock.
Board's good.
So
Board's
it's
good.
you just throw like an easy board, and it's kind of hard to miss.
Right.
Whereas center guard tick is much harder. So we're taking away the harder shot, and we're penalizing the team with the hammer.
With the hammer. Right.
So I like no tick, but I think we need to do something about
Yep.
rocks that aren't on the center line as well.
Okay.
Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Curl. Whoa.
Through the port.
We'll just leave it there. Nice. Good
right
throw.
on nose. Mike's pretty happy with that
Good
overall.
spot. It's probably better.
Yeah, they were initially talking about a roll, but they called the audible to nose it, and now it seems like he's quite happy with that. And I agree.
Yeah.
There's no double. There's
No.
There's not really a great option here for Karsten. So I think nose probably should have been the initial call, but they got there eventually, anyways.
Nobody asks how on the scorecard, right?
Exactly. There's no pictures on the scoreboard.
Oh, came pretty close to that guard, but
It's as good as he could have done.
yeah,
It's
I think so. Yeah,
mostly
yeah.
buried.
You run
It's a really good shot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is Mike's guard, so
Their
Mike
option is
does
just
have the
take this
luxury
double
of the
field.
run back.
Yeah.
I don't know that luxury and run back are ever generally used in the same sentence, but
Only thing with running, Flash.
I mean, when you got Colton
you
Flash
run
in the
it,
hack, it's
so you
Well-
make it, you might end up here, which
pretty
is really
luxurious.
bad.
that is true.
I know, but anything he goes here, this is maybe just. I mean, or it's just run it right on the nose. I like that.
So over
Like
on
that,
sheet
just try to
4,
flush
Team
it.
Dunham just running a hit
Firm,
there. They're generally
outturn.
keeping things fairly clean. There are a couple corner guards on the one side, opposite colors, but there's some rocks in place. So definitely the Bernath team happy about some
Yep.
corner
Whoa.
guards there for sure.
Carl. Carl.
And gets the run back.
Shot.
Oh, just barely.
Just enough.
Good throw.
Just enough. Rocks are pretty lively here at the Calgary Club. We like to keep them in pretty good shape, and I think the teams have appreciated that this year, that they get some action off them. In that case, Karsten would have preferred a little less action, I guess, but
Yeah, Carson would have liked him to be real dead on
real
that
dead on that one. But Mike was pretty happy with it, so
one. Yeah.
I don't know of a ice maker that's made every team happy.
No, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah. Oh, so we got a question from YouTube here, Chelsea, saying, so by our rationale that we were talking about earlier, does the team without hammer have the advantage in an extra end?
I don't think it's an advantage. I just think that, and in an extra end, I actually don't think it matters because you're not, like the center line rocks are the rocks that are going to be ticked. Like no one's throwing
Right.
corner guards in an extra end, right? So I don't think it matters in that particular situation. I just think, and I don't think it's an advantage really. I just think that it's a disadvantage to the team with the hammer
Right.
versus an
Yeah,
advantage
it's
to the
all-
team without it, that their guards are tickable and the team without the hammer, the center guards are
Well,
not
the
tickable.
option
Not
is
takeable.
PR red. I guess he plays the split. Yeah, like then he just plays the split, I suppose. Peel our red, then he does this, right? Gets one in behind here.
So Mike keeping a ton of respect for the Sturmay team here and just not wanting to give them any opportunity to bring that tight, I don't know, maybe it's a biter right now, into play at all. He's I don't know if they like that one off the
Hard.
release right off,
Whoa.
or not
Hard.
quite sure.
They said
Hard!
row out of his hand, but
Yeah.
Hard! Hard! Yeah, go right
Might have been a hair wide right from the start and
through the house.
never
it was.
got off.
I think it was mostly just heavy.
heavy.
Yeah. That would have been. Yeah, Mike just said through the house. I think he's probably right,
Really?
back
Yeah.
12 or so. So
Yeah.
if it's not, if
I
it's
just
if
didn't
the
wanna
weight's right, the
whisper
line's
tape
probably
and come
close
on
to what
it
they
and
would have
push them
wanted.
deeper or something, so I don't know.
Nonetheless, a pretty big miss there. So
Yeah.
opportunity
Yeah,
here
back
for Team
line,
Sturmay.
too.
Unfortunately for them, it's going
Oh.
to be really hard to get to that back red rock. But
Yeah.
you don't need to at this point. You're just trying to. I mean, 3 would be great, but you just need to make sure you get 2. So
Yep.
right, make this one good. If you have a chance to get to that back one, great. But this is a big shot here from Kyle Daring.
I don't know why I thought you had to throw so hard.
Some moving parts on this team too for Team Sturmay because they do also have JD Lind as part of the team. And when he's here, he plays. When he's playing, he plays third.
Right.
So they shuffle the positions around a little bit when he's not here. I imagine he's in Pictou County with Team Fujisawa right now.
Right, yes.
I mean, I probably discard. He's got this run though.
JD's a busy guy. He even shows up at our Wednesday Premium League from time to time. He plays on a team there, Team Hansen, who features actually a couple guys that were in this Bonspiel. The Vavrick team has Roland Robinson and Carter Lautner on it, and those guys play with JD and another friend of ours, Sterling Hansen, who's on the board of directors here, and their teammate last couple years is your good friend Brad Kokorayanis.
Yes, absolutely.
So Brad
This
would.
is a good option. I know
Brad, we better get a thumbs up or something from you for giving you a shout out here and using up some of your 15 minutes of fame. So if you're listening, Brad, I want to hear about it.
Well, it's just easy for me to get rid of the next shot. Just let him throw that. He's throwing it. I might be drawing against 3. If he ever makes like a crazy beauty, I'm drawing around. He's playing a runner for a quarter by the game. I think that makes more sense.
Didn't see the end
Well, I have to
result
be more
on
active
sheet
than
4 over there. They're finished the
I gotta
end.
make a curling shot.
Haven't seen the score go up quite yet.
Bernath
Red.
scored something because
I
he
don't
got
have to touch
Yeah,
it. I
There we
mean,
go.
There we
on
go.
it. You can't
It's
blast
like
it.
2.
Yeah, deuce for Bernath. So objective achieved there. There it's a 6-4
My line is
lead for Dunham
my line
in the 6th end. So no guarantees either way yet, but Bernath holding in. They've had a few good games here. They've been a fun team to watch. They're coached by Pat Simmons, so great to see Pat back around. We haven't seen him too much the last few years. I think he's been more coaching, and he works with Curl Saskatchewan too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a high performance director, I believe.
Right. Don't know Pat very well, but seems like a pretty good guy. So
Wonderful, wonderful human.
Yeah.
Very smart about curling. Very good coach. I've not worked with him a ton, but we've had him at a couple of events where he was coaching us, and yeah, he's outstanding. He's got such a great temperament for it, and he's very smart about the game. So everything you could ask for in coach for sure.
right on, learn a lot from him.
Yeah, smart of them to that's a huge pickup for a young
Whoa.
team like Bernath to
Whoa.
have somebody like Pat with them. That's great.
Turn straight! 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 Good.
Sweepers were a little slow to react on Mike's
He's so curled up.
line call there, but I think
Good.
it turned out pretty good in the end.
Thanks. I just knew it was going to dive in there by how I threw it. It was artistic.
That's that honesty we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier in the game, Chelsea. I think artistic. Wow, I'm gonna pick that one up for my Wednesday team and let the boys know that I've got some artistic releases.
Oh, I use that. That's one of my favorite terms.
Yeah.
Artistic and creative. Sometimes
Artistic
I'll
and creative. There you
throw
go.
out a
Okay.
creative. That one was creative.
All right.
But again, to what we were talking about earlier, to your point, you have to say that. You have to
Right.
tell Kevin that because he's looking at it going, why were we freaking out about line?
Right.
And
Yeah.
Mike's going, I knew it was going to curl because of how I threw it.
Right.
So that's an important one to communicate, for Mike to communicate that he did something to it. So he knew it was going to do that because of the way he let it go.
My team has the opposite side where we had Nadine Scotland spared for us several years ago, and she came out with a bunch of what I like to call wounded buffaloes, and Nadine came out and just threw the exact same release every single time, kind of robotic. So we often refer to that's not a Nadine Scotland-like delivery or release. So another wonderful person and a great friend of the game. I think she's back curling recreationally. I don't think she's curling too competitive these days.
No,
Kind of
she's
busy
not.
with the kids, but
Yeah.
I think she helped out with the Autumn Gold this year a little bit.
She's on the committee
Yeah.
for the Autumn Gold, as am I.
Yeah, you are too. That's right. Yeah,
so
thanks for that.
She's a committee member. She does a lot of work for that event.
Hang on. Yeah, you guys put on a great event this year. I think it was a good show.
Yeah, it was great. I thought it went really well.
Good to hear. I know Bernice loves sponsoring that event. Curler's Corner, they're a sponsor here at the Calgary Club, and they're the title sponsor of the Autumn Gold Curler's Corner Autumn Gold Curling Classic, and that's just a fabulous ladies event here in Calgary.
Yeah, it's one of the longest running ladies events on tour.
That's right.
Yeah, for like 40 years. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
just a hair of an over curl and run that by. So close.
They just can't buy one. You gotta feel for them. They've just missed so many shots like that. Where that's a really long run back. He missed that by a millimeter.
No, totally right. Like that's not even a quarter-inch miss.
No.
That's you're talking millimeter miss on that.
Those are so frustrating. They're so close to such a great shot, and that's just kind of been the story of the game for Karsten and Team Sturmay.
Straw around it.
But good for him for taking it on. So, well. They didn't have a lot of choice either, I guess.
He had to, yeah. Had to, and I mean, I thought he was making it. That's
I know
that's a tough one.
It's probably easier to do that. I know how to make it.
Interesting, Mike's comment there that he knows how to make it. So obviously he's going to put some creativity or artistry into this one, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would agree.
No, it won't. At the end. No. I already threw one out here. Probably.
Was there anything you looked for when you were trying to learn ice, Chelsea? What was the tip or the trick that you saw, or is it just a feeling? Is it
like reading the ice?
Yeah, when you're reading the ice, how do you pick up on something faster than the other skip? Is there anything you can look for?
Well, I think the communication part that I was talking about before, that whole learning mode thing and having a lot of honesty amongst your teammates is super important, because in theory you should know their throws well enough that it gives you a pretty good read on the spot on the ice, but then you need to understand if they've done something different to it, if they've gotten a little bit creative or artistic or whatever. And then depending on who your opposition is, watching the opposition's rocks. Like, use all the information at your disposal.
Right around it. Right around
is it just generally a good habit, but it also then depends. Like there are teams when I play them that I don't watch theirs because I know ours aren't going to do the same thing, and then it can mess with your head a bit. But at this level, most of the time, even if they're not going to do the same thing, like I would suggest that between these two teams, Karsten's team would get a little bit more curl than Mike's team would, just across the board. But that's okay. You can still get a read from that. So he's edge of 8, and you're like, well, Mike goes, well, I probably don't need quite that much. You know, you move it in an inch or two, but it's still a consistent release that can give you a read on the path. So it's just a lot of paying attention, quite frankly. Which it's that's the thing about skipping. You're standing down there, but you're never not doing anything. You shouldn't ever be not doing anything.
You should be learning from every shot.
Right.
Your team and my team are unlikely ever to meet each other, but I will give you the heads up that you probably shouldn't try and read off of our deliveries or throws. You may question why you're playing this game, because how did they make that shot? I don't think that's possible. I thought physics came into play.
Yeah, it's quite like that was taught to me when I was a kid, that like make sure you watch every. My dad kind of beat that into me, like you gotta watch every rock. So now it's just a habit, but then. Like Colin and I will be playing doubles against somebody who, you know, he's familiar with the male player, and he's like, don't watch his because mine aren't going to do that.
Right.
And but I still stand behind it, and he gets mad at me. I told you not to watch it. I'm like, I just have to stand here. It's part of my. It's like a
part
habit.
of my routine. Yes. My dad told me I had to do this. You go talk to my dad.
Yeah.
We got some great feedback here on YouTube. DC is really appreciating your announcing there, Chelsea. Saying Ms. Carey is phenomenal as an announcer, and I totally agree. Yes, it's a real honor and a pleasure to be working with Chelsea today. So thanks so much for your time. You know, Chelsea, you do so much for the game. A lot of people do, but you know, you're a busy person. You're curling competitively. You were just out on the East Coast, super spare. And then you show up here at the Calgary Curling Club. So thank you so much for everything you do.
No, it's my pleasure to be here. This stuff's fun. I mean, I'd be sitting at home watching the stream and talking about curling to myself on my couch, so I may as well put a microphone in front of my face. Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely. All right, so Sturmay did score a point in the fifth end, so it is 4-1 after 5 ends. And Kevin just put up the score for us. Thanks a lot. Yeah, huge shout out to my crew here today. I got Tracy Franks from the board of directors here at the Calgary Curling Club running the sound. And I got Kevin Parent, the dad of Ryan Parent, who was in the Bondsville, made it to the quarterfinals. So I think, I know Ryan would like to be playing in the semifinals, but I do think Ryan has to be quite proud of himself for the achievement they made getting to the quarterfinals here.
Well,
That's great. So thank you very much, Kevin. And Steve Scrimgore, longtime member and just a general great guy. And I think Steve has volunteered at about 5,000 events. He started volunteering when he's 12. So, you know, Steve's a young guy. He's so thanks a lot, everybody. No, it's just fabulous to have the support that we do here at the Calgary Curling Club and in all of curling, actually. You know, Chelsea was talking about the Autumn Gold earlier and the ladies she serves with on that committee. And just, you know, that's one of the great things about the sport is the volunteerism that goes with it.
Back to our conversation about the ticks. Unfortunately for Team Sturmay, overcurled the center line there, so gave the opportunity to Dan Marsh to make the tick, and he makes no mistake. It's made very well.
Yes.
For Team McEwen here, just need to score.
Yep.
Doesn't need to be 2. It just, you need to not give up. You don't even need to score. You just need to not give up a steal.
Right.
So you're happy with a blank. You're happy with a single point. Just try to keep it as open as possible to make sure that you don't give up a steal. And for Team Sturmay, you are in full steal mode.
Yep.
So the goal would have been to throw 2 guards, but unfortunately with that first one over curling, they're only going to have 1 up here now. Needs to stop to keep the line there too.
Did he hang on? It is close.
Same.
Looks like it's just far enough off, and they didn't need to bring out the right angle triangle to measure it. That is what we have now. If there is a question, you can bring out a right angle triangle and put it on the line to confirm if it is touching or not.
Curl. Nice shot.
Didn't quite move that one as far, but made the tick nonetheless. Got it off the center line, which really is the objective there. So. Is Karsten throwing up another guard here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His initial call was around, but he switched it to the guard.
Yeah.
Just talking about where to put this. So in theory, you would want to throw this guard on the center line, but if you do that, you give Team McEwen, some of the better hitters in the game, a whole bunch of runs at a double peel with 0 risk. So you can't really do that. You have to either line it up with that rock that's there, so throw a long guard like a 1-2 or like a 1 stacked as if you were throwing 2 guards on the center line, or you can go to the other side and try to throw it even so there's no double peel.
Right.
That's what they were debating between. It looks like they've gone with a long guard opportunity, or they may be going around this.
I'm going to guess by the weight now. Yeah, no, that's coming in for sure.
Pick.
Mike talking about another pick there. I didn't see a huge move, but our angle isn't as good, so I'll defer to Mike on that one for sure. So Mike looking for the run back double here.
Yep. Oh. Curl. Come on. Nice shot.
And just enough. Great shot. A little bit of jet fuel added to that one for sure.
That's kind of been the story of the game on both sides, where Mike's team is getting away with those. They just tick it far enough, and for Karsten on the wrong side of all of those little inches and millimeters.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And that's curling some days. There are days where it just works, and some days it just doesn't. And you look and go, what am I doing different? But stick with it. Stay with your routine. Was there anything you relied on in your routines, Chelsea, to kind of just center you, refocus you, bring you back?
Again, beat into me from the time I was a child was the importance of pre-shot routine.
Right.
And it needs to be the same every time. And it also needs to, like, I see people go to practice and they don't go through their pre-shot routine.
Oh,
like, well, then what's
okay.
the point? Like, go home.
Right.
There's no point in practicing if you're not going to go through all that, because that's what I used to ask my dad how he did it. How, you're on national TV or you're in a huge arena and all these people are watching you. Like, how do you? And he said that's your routine. That's what it's for.
Right.
Because then you feel like you're just transported back to your home club in practice. And that was like his keywords always were just like practice when he would get nervous, just like practice.
Right.
So going through your pre-shot routine the same every time, including like every rock I throw, I go through my entire pre-shot routine.
Okay.
So I think that's huge because for exactly that reason. When you are nervous, it's something familiar and
When Flash hit it anyways.
and important,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh boy.
also it makes it makes a very nerve-wracking, abnormal situation
weight.
feel more normal.
Right.
Feels like something you do all the time.
Yeah. I might be aging myself a little bit here, but one of my favorite movie clips of all time is from Hoosiers. I don't know if you ever saw that, where Gene Hackman takes the team out just before their big game and measures makes them take the tape measure out and measure the distance of the basketball net, and just to point out that basketball net and that big university that they were playing in is in the exact same distance and spot as it was back at their little high school in
Exactly. Yeah.
I forget the name of the town in Indiana now, but anyways.
But that's the point. Like
Right.
And it's all the cliches. The rocks don't know who's throwing them. It's all
Right.
that stuff, right? But your pre-shot routine is what gets you through that stuff, and it's not just curling. You watch the best golfers in the world. You can time the
Right.
pre-shot routine within
Milliseconds.
milliseconds of each other. It's the exact same every time, and that's why they do it that way.
Right.
We're playing a skill sport. We're playing a repetition sport. So the more things that you can keep, like the things that you can control, which that is entirely within your control.
Right.
You want to do it because there's so many things you can't control.
Right.
Right.
Could do that. I don't mind it. No. No, the best they can.
I have some really good post-game routines. They're usually up in the lounge. I practice those a lot.
They
I know.
involve lifting your arm up to your mouth. a
Well,
lot.
yeah, Original 16
Think
is
so.
a great practice tool, and I take advantage of it. Great
Even right
supporters
here.
of the curling community. I like to try and help them out. So I do my part to help Original 16 stay in the game as well. So yeah, huge shout out to our title sponsor. Really appreciate everything Original 16 puts into this, into the game for us. I heard that I think actually they're the sponsor of the patch at the Scotties, which is here in Calgary this year. So
Yes, I do believe they are.
really looking forward to that event at the Mark and McPhail Center, and
Watch for it to come
I
down.
think that'll be a lot of fun. I think Amy
Deeper
Nixon
than
was here
anything.
on Friday night commentating, and there's still some opportunities for some young stars to sign up. So if you go to the Scotties website, check it out. If you got a young player, I think kind of 9 to 14-year-olds they're looking for to work with. You get partnered with a team, so that would be a really exciting event.
Yeah, definitely. It's always really cool to see the junior stars out there and get to kind of chat with them a bit and stuff, and it's a really neat opportunity.
For sure. Do you have a favorite memory from when you were a young person and meeting a curling superstar? One of your favorites?
Well, I was lucky because it was my dad.
Obviously, yeah,
so
for sure.
it was pretty easy. But watching him win the Brier in 1992 was, I mean, I still very vividly remember that. And
Yeah,
was probably the moment where I kind of knew I wanted to do something with
this
curling.
is what hooked
yeah.
you? Yeah, right on. Yeah, that's fabulous. One of my favorite stories, Cheryl Bernard organized a junior curling thing here just a few years ago here at the Calgary Curling Club, and my daughter was about 6 years old at the time, and so Cheryl was here. John Morris came down. They both had their medals. So the kids were out on the ice with John and Cheryl and everybody, and we brought them all up afterwards, and then we had pictures with John and Cheryl and their their medals.
line's
And
good.
so my daughter is pretty young, kind of a shy girl at that point, and you know, I'd stick her in this line. She's kind of looking at me, not really sure
Look
what's
at the
going
curl.
on. And so anyways,
Curl.
I shuffle her up there and stand back, go to take my picture, and John
Well, the
leans
line
down and
helps
says,
too.
"Would you like to hold my medal?" And she looks at him and says, "No."
Yep.
And
Yes,
John,
yes.
John kind of had this
yes,
confused
hard.
look on his face.
Whoa.
I don't think he'd ever been declined anybody to
Probably
take
not. No.
a picture with his medal before, but she didn't know who this guy was, and she wasn't quite
Yeah.
sure what that medal was all about. And she kind of looked at me like, should I be standing here or not? But anyways, it was
funny.
kind of a cute thing.
Wow.
So I didn't get a chance to remind John of that story when he was here
Nope.
this weekend. But next time I see him, I'll remind him of that one.
He's just been throwing it anyways. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Right.
So I think Sturmay looking to play a freeze here.
It's a dud, yeah.
Looks like it. Yep.
Earlier in the game, so it's got like
A little sharp.
there's just something going on. It is sanded probably. We haven't had that many.
Talking about a rock
Yeah.
for Team
Kinda sounds
McEwen.
like they're not a huge fan of one of the rocks. I'm not sure exactly which one, but so they're talking about the line being really good. They just want the sweepers to dead freeze this. You know, with the hitting power, pretty good shot. A little bit of a tap there, but you know, the hitting power of these teams now, even the dead freeze, when
I
it's
love
wide
throwing
open
this
like this,
turn.
there's
Like,
not a lot of guarantees that it's going to stick around.
Well, we could throw this too.
No, for sure not. But what's working in the
kinda like
favor
the
of Team
aquator
Sturmay
right
here
here.
is that other red rock.
Yes.
So where they put it, I actually don't think you could kill it because you throw that double, it's going straight into
You
that
are
other
going to
red.
jam. You are going to jam on that red,
So
aren't
Mike's gonna So
Hack.
Mike's gonna come down here with. He's talking about hack. He'd try to just stay on the nose of this,
you? Mm-hmm.
Just half.
kill that back red, sit on the nose. Then Karsten doesn't have much of a chance to set up a multiple point end here.
Right. Yeah. Really smart play there.
Yeah, really good freeze and really good angle. Like
Mhm.
leaving that a little bit on the center line side was key there because if that
Pretty
is
much
on the nose, then Mike can throw the
Right.
intern at it and scoot it out the house on the other side.
Yeah. 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 Even like you said, even just pure nose, Mike has an opportunity to get rid
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, if he puts it on the nose, you throw the center line, like you hit it on the center line side and it'll go.
Just gone.
So really well placed there from Team Sturmay.
Yep. 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 Hard. Ah.
Over curled a hair. Mike not liking
Ah,
the
shoot.
end result there, but so
Couldn't hold
Sturmay a little bit of a chance here.
That's good.
He's going to freeze to something. Looks like Kyle Daring's got a fan here. Heather Burnett says, "Go Kyle, go."
Yeah. Is he Morris? Look, he could run down the line for a while.
Well, they're discussing. I'll see if I can figure. Wow, there's a lot of rocks in play. A lot more rocks in play than I kind of expected on the Dunham Bernath game.
I know what he's saying.
Sheet 4, so there's still, this is the last rock of the 6th end, and looks like Dunham's sitting shot. He's sitting shot. He's sitting one for sure.
This looks like a Nicholas Adine spinner
Yeah,
attempt here from
this
Scott
is
Dunham.
about 25 rotations coming down the ice here. Don't think it's going to get to where it needs to, but well, it took kind of a right turn at Albuquerque there, but no, not quite. So.
Good attempt.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
got by that a little tighter. He could have made that.
Might have been there. Wow. All right, so one for Dunham in the 6th end. That takes him up 7-4 over Bernath. So commanding lead into the 7th end. Expecting the team conference from the Dunham team to be something along the lines of keep it clean and keep it open.
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah, let's make it.
Okay, so Sturmay coming up into the full 8 foot there, and I'm expecting McEwen throwing the double
Out
here.
turn. This will be straight. Firm.
Firm. Basically put the broom right where you want the rock to hit it.
Firm weight. Oh. I think so. Yep. Hard! Hard! Ah.
Oh, and he stuffed it. Wow.
Shoot.
Little bit of a mistake there from the
Sorry, boys.
McEwen team, so stuffed
About
that.
halfway, it was where it needed to be for how straight that is.
Yeah, Mike saying that halfway down he liked it, but
Yeah, I thought you were backing it
gave
up.
up a steal of 1. So 4-2 after 6 ends for McEwen over Sturmay.
I thought halfway it was where it needed to be.
I was almost going to ask, would you ever throw the draw there and just take your 1? But I thought, well, that was kind of a stupid question. But maybe now that he jammed it, maybe drawing for 1 wasn't a bad.
Well, I think that for me the reason that I wouldn't throw the draw is because you might give up 2.
Right.
When you're throwing the double, you're never going up 2.
Right.
So given the scoreboard, I think it's the smart call.
That's
You also
the
could have
call.
ended the game. You know, if you
Right.
get 2 or 3 there, which was pretty makeable.
Yep.
Game's over. So
Right.
I think it's worth throwing the double.
Yep.
But obviously you're running the risk of giving up the steal 1. But yeah, if you throw a draw and something goes wrong, you know, you give up 2 and all of a sudden it's a really close game. So I think you want to make sure you're killing a yellow rock if you're Mike, just because of what the scoreboard is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the speed at which Mike was throwing that, that double, that nut like that is
Yeah, it's hard to do.
it's hard
actually,
to do.
Yeah.
How'd that look?
Exactly
I
right.
thought it
That's the
started at the middle.
you call it and you don't make it 9 times out of 10. So
Exactly.
Concept. Okay. Good to know. Just in case I gotta throw it again.
so Mike and Dan just talking about the rock there,
No.
learning from it. So like you said earlier, Chelsea learning from every shot.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like they've moved some rocks around a little bit on the McEwen side. There's one that they think is a little bit sharper.
Okay.
So I think it's one
Yeah.
that has gotten those little picks that
that
we're
gave
seeing in the
us
soft
Mhm.
stuff.
time
So
to
Yep.
make
a little
good
pitted or a
call.
little sharp or something maybe,
Right.
which in another game might not be,
Oh.
might not even show.
Right.
But because we have this condition where the ice is that little bit softer, sometimes you'll see a tendency in a rock that wouldn't be there if we didn't have that. So
Right. Yep.
my guess is that they wouldn't have noticed this in another game on another day, but just
Right.
because the ice is that little bit softer, now it's showing itself.
Yeah. Give you a quick update here from the Dunham. Actually, Steve, can you be fancy and use your joystick? Let's just pan over to the sheet number 4 there. Or actually, if you go to a number 8 for me, Steve. There we go.
Good one.
There we go. We'll try and give a couple of shots from the Dunham game here to you folks on YouTube. So you're looking at the house they're throwing to right now on Dunham Bernath. So this is the Bernath team bringing their rock in. Not quite the result they wanted.
Whoa.
So you see Dunham
Yep.
laying two
Whoa.
behind a
Yep.
center guard.
Yep.
They got a 2-point lead in the game. All right, now our game's returned. So we'll watch one more shot come in here from Dunham Bernath, just because I
Oh,
know
wow,
our
didn't-
Philadelphia friends would really like
that
to
hit that.
see at least a couple shots. If things keep going the way they are, I think we're going to see. Well, I'm just not even going to say that because I'm going to stay objective here.
I thought that was flying into the boards.
So Dunham makes the hit, sitting laying three. So we'll switch back to our game now.
Back on our sheet, unfortunately for Team Sturmay, we're having trouble finding that center line. Their first guard there, once again, wasn't quite biting center, so opportunity for Team McEwen to make the tick, and once again, no mistake from Dan Marsh, made very well. So cut themselves down to one guard again here for Team Sturmay, which is just going to get real tough on you in a pretty big hurry.
Thanks for keeping us updated, Chelsea, while I was helping out our camera operators. The system that we've got installed in the club here is new to us, so thanks everybody for being patient with us as a bunch of amateurs learn how to use this. It's amazing the technology we have available to us now that we can bring this to the world. Last night we had a gentleman from Brisbane, Australia watching. We had some people from Quebec, so we're reaching out all over the place.
Top four.
Great to see.
Flash. Like it to curl a little. Top four. Right here. Yeah, it's coming down. Coming down. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Ooh.
Joe, you're welcome for the bonus coverage on sheet 4. We're doing what we can. All right, so Sturmay looking to come around the center guard here. Nice clean release. So we got 2, 3. I'm just counting rotations here as it's coming down. 4. It's got 5. That was at least 6 rotations coming down there, I think. A little hard to count after the tick. That changed the number of rotations, but yeah, very positive release there.
Yeah, I just don't think he said it at all, though, because Karsten
Nope.
right out of his hand said hard.
Yeah,
You like that?
He actually said early, which is
right.
the same when Mike before said you got to hit this. That's the same concept right out of
Right.
the person's hand if it's a little bit soft. If you hit it right away with even just 4 or 5 quick strokes, often it'll kick it back
Yeah, I
onto
like
the
it.
line that you wanted. But unfortunately, there for Team Sturmay, they couldn't save that one.
Yeah,
Right.
out turn.
And a trick for rotations, everyone counts the rotations all the way down the sheet,
Whoa.
and I've never understood that. Just count them between the hog line.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the same all the time. Like, so
Right.
it can't be screwed up by hitting another rock or whatever.
Right,
So I
yep.
always just count mine
Okay.
between the hog lines.
So your hog-to-hog rotation.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Takes the guesswork out of it. Because the other thing is if you
Right.
throw a guard and it doesn't travel as far and you throw it in the house, like, so now your number's all
Right.
messed up, right?
Yeah.
If you just count it between the hog lines, then it's the same whether it's a guard or in the house. Like, it doesn't change.
Right. Bob likes to tease me that he'd like to see more than half a rotation out of me, but I'm like, Bob, you'll get lots of rotation. Don't worry about it.
So that picked in Glenn's hand.
Yeah.
You
Like,
saw him try to kind of jerk it and then try to spin it to get whatever debris it picked up out from underneath it, but unfortunately wasn't able to.
They were kind of pointing something at the hog line. I don't know if it came off
You don't need to.
near the hog line there, but anyways, got some brushes down, pushed it off. Little unfortunate there.
Should be out. Yes.
Mike's calling that one out.
I think so. I mean, eventually he's coming here, right? Yeah.
So Mike has a pretty good idea of what he wants and what he knows Karsten needs to do here.
Board. Yep. Hard. 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 All the way. All the way. Never stop. Never stop. Okay.
Pretty much nose hit there. Karsten going back to the center guard, just ignoring all McEwen stones. He kind of just has to do that. They're all at the top half of the house there, so.
Yeah, you heard Mike say eventually Karsten will go around that one, which he will, but it's too early for that. And because of where those are, the peel's not super easy.
Right.
So if you put it kind of in between those fairly tight to the house, you got to navigate around both those red rocks. So you're grasping at straws here a little bit if you're Karsten Sturmay, but where those rocks are, it makes some sense to throw a guard in the middle. But it looks like he might be going around this higher one now.
He did tap the back of the house in the end, so. That's always the $1 million question: is when do you go for it? When do you do you put that one more guard up, or do you go now?
Yeah, for sure it is. We're already into thirds rocks here, though, so I don't mind this. I mean, you're probably not going to get a missed peel.
No.
Out of Mike McEwen, you're hoping for a jam. But if he doesn't jam and he makes both of them go away, now you're more limited in what rocks you have for protection by going around this and leaving it there.
Yeah.
You make him peel his own rock if he wants to do that, or you bring some options into play there. So I don't mind it. Unfortunately for them, this one's going to over curl.
Yes.
Little rub on that top red rock.
Might have been a hair light from what they wanted. Even with that rub, they only rolled into the full 8 foot there. So that was a little less than what because he was calling back 8 there. So.
Well, I don't know. Is there one that's
light.
better? The problem is with nose, I think he's got to freeze, and then we can't get rid of it.
Interesting. So Mike making sure he does not want to set up any kind of a pocket, even though it's at the top of the house. Just doesn't want to leave an option for Karsten.
No, for sure. So
What does he do if we nose it? If we nose it, what does he do? He probably freezes the pocket.
Yeah.
They know they want to hit this yellow. It's just a matter of where they want to roll to, if anywhere. Is it a nose hit? Is it a roll one way or the other?
Right.
That's what they're talking about right now.
What does he do if we nose? I think it's Kyle's last, so he goes here.
So Mike just playing the end out in his mind.
Maybe we don't need that to happen.
Is it wrong just to hit and roll out? And
It's not, but then
do this?
he's going around one of the two of them.
you're giving him the same shot, which
Yeah.
you never like to give your opposition the same
Is
shot
that not the
twice,
shot?
especially after they just missed it.
Looks like a control waiter to me, half a rock. Half a rock with control! Yeah, just normal then. I like the out.
Okay, so they've decided on a normal hit with the out turn.
I think they decided on rolling to the
Yep.
right
the
as
right
we
side,
look at
okay.
it.
Hard. 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 Really hard. Well, okay, that's fine.
And he did
I'll
roll
roll
a
it
bit. did leave that pocket, just shifted
that
it over,
curl.
but left that pocket that Mike was talking about. Carson's immediately going to the back forefoot, though.
Yeah, Mike was thinking he might freeze in the pocket, which you could do. The challenge with that is it's getting so late in the end and it's so high in the house.
Right.
So you freeze, but you still need a couple shots then to get rid of enough reds for your rock to matter, and you're only going to be biting the 8-foot.
Right.
So the challenge here, obviously, is that it's going to be a short run back for Team McEwen, but for Karsten, you need him to miss a few of those. That's the only way you're going to get back in this game right now with not having the guards, both two guards at the start of the end, and you're in, it's desperate times here a little bit, so you loop this around, you hope for a missed run back, and then you can guard it.
And in the last end, they did get a missed run back out of Mike McEwen. So.
You have to hope that you get more of those. That's the only way you're going to win this game. So.
Oh, maybe could have benefited from a slight rub there. He didn't rub, he got by clean, but if they'd have got that dirty rub there, they'd been a little bit more buried, but like you said,
but it would have been higher.
It would have been higher,
I'm not sure
and
it's better.
Yeah, so
just that line would have been good if it went another 2 feet.
Needed two more
needed,
feet.
Needed to keep sliding for them.
So I'm assuming Mike's just going to pick this out based on the line and the guy throwing. I think he needs to work on his leg drive. Oh, so we talked about those misses, and well,
that pick.
I think Mike was disappointed with that last one. I didn't quite catch the word he used there.
There's some trucks driving by in the parking lot.
There's some trucks driving by in the parking lot there. That's right. Yes. So.
It's amazing how many trucks drive by when Ben Hebert curls.
Well, you know, Ben's.
Make sure this is never more than
it's a whole fleet of trucks every time he's on the ice.
Yes, that's right. There's some colorful characters out there. Who was the one I remember? Was it Bert Gretzinger from BC?
Bert Gretzinger, yeah.
I'm again aging myself, but I seem to remember a Brier where Vic Rauter just spent the entire game apologizing for Bert. I don't know that the delay worked quite as well in 1990, whatever that was.
No, probably not.
So the end just finished, 7th end just finished over on sheet 4. Sorry I didn't catch it. I do see fist bumps from the Dunham team, but we see fist bumps from the Dunham team on every single end. So I'll wait till the score gets put up or see somebody step out to the hack. There's definitely more rocks in play on sheet 4 than I expected.
I agree with that.
It's looking like the Bernath team is walking towards the scoreboard. So yes, so Bernath did score 1. So Bernath forced to 1 and 7. So it is 7-5. Dunham's got the hammer coming home 2 up. So definitely in control. That being said, the 5-rock rule, anything can happen. So Bernath is going to force Dunham to throw his rocks, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, 7-5 Dunham over Bernath after 7 ends. Okay, Mike delivering the first of his last his rocks.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa! Clean, clean.
Just cleaning, coming by the guard. Should pick this out real nice.
Good.
Great little roll. Stuck around the back. Back 8 foot, back 12.
2 slashers. So.
Mike already talking about his next shot. I heard him say he has 2 slashers, though.
Right.
That would be those rocks in the top of the 8 foot, in that he could slash either one of them onto shot rock.
Right. Yeah, so he's expecting Carson's going to make this draw perfect, and he's just preparing himself. Which one am I going to run back here? Is the run back easier when there's a bit of an angle?
I think so. I find
Yeah.
nose is just hard, and I don't know why. It
Yeah,
just is. Like, it seems like it should be the easiest, but it's not.
Right, yeah.
Visually, it's just a little bit harder for some reason. The angles. You also sometimes have a little bit more play with the angle. Like, you could hit
Right.
with a slash like this, especially because you don't need to perfectly stuff it.
Yeah.
You probably have about an inch or so of the rock that you could hit it anywhere within that range and be okay. But
Right,
when you
right.
have to hit something right on the nose, you don't have an inch.
Right. Yeah. And Sturmay doing pretty much exactly what he called. Back 4 foot, buried.
It's pretty much perfect. You would
No.
think that you want that above the tee line, but you don't, because
No.
then the run backs are shorter. So
Yep.
you actually want to bring that back a little further in this case, just so that if this run back is a little bit trickier for Mike.
Right.
No, I like throwing where they're involved.
Mike immediately went to the right side as we're looking at it right now.
Or something.
So it's a bit more of an extreme angle, but obviously he prefers this side for could
could
be a
throw
variety of
firm at it
reasons.
too.
Could be the turn, could be
Flush it.
just the path.
Might be the shot. You like that?
Tuckers usually like their out turn. So
Yeah.
You know, that's... You want it right beside, actually, because you can hit it slightly less than half. Yep. Good.
Okay, so Mike just yeah,
I like this with firm,
just
I think.
saying that he's got a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be super exact. He's got, so he wanted that broom just a little bit further out and put it right beside the rock. Because he doesn't need to stick with this.
no, half a rock's close.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 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 no. Nope. Nope. Good.
Being really quiet here, but nailed it. Absolutely perfect. And that's handshakes. So a score of 3
Thanks, buddy.
for McEwen in the end. That's great. Congratulations, Team McEwen. Thanks to Team Sturmay for coming out. We're going to switch the cameras over here to the Dunham game. Chelsea, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming out today. That's absolutely fabulous. Hope to see you down here again at the Calgary Curling Club.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me out.
Great. There we go. Perfect. Oh. All right, Philadelphia.
Number 2 went out on the one side, so we reset it, but I don't know how close it is. You might want to
Okay, I'll check it out.
adjust it a bit before the next game. Long.
Okay, Philadelphia, we've switched over to sheet number 4. Apologies, we don't have professional camera operators. We're just going to stick you on split screen so that you can see both ends here, the delivery and the home end. So, like I said, Team Dunham is up 7-5, and I'm just trying to count the rocks here. This looks like the first of the third stones for Team Bernath. So there's only one lonely red rock in the house with a very high yellow guard. So Dunham's got a high guard corner. Bernath's sitting full 8. Bernath looking to throw a guard here. Gonna slip in just a hair. That might have been a hair deeper than they really wanted. So Dunham trying to decide just what does he want to hit here. I'm thinking, yeah, take the easy one. Not the wrong call. And I'm expecting the Dunham team does not want to stick around on this. Actually, well, I shouldn't say that. Little hit, roll would be okay. Force the play out on the open side because Bernath is going to try and use that red and the 12-foot as a bit of a guard. So, not big weight here. Looking to stick around with the shooter. Definitely roll to the open side. And perfect, exactly where they wanted it to be. Bernath staying patient. He's going to try and put up another guard. So here comes the Bernath rock. Last third stones for Team Bernath. Brusher's not putting anything down, so indicates that it's all there. They were trying to hope to keep this up in the 2 zone. If you use the Furby team system of measuring where your rocks went. So a little tighter than they wanted. Dunham wastes no time, put the broom down. He's probably going to try and run the double here. Roll the shooter over. Definitely not worried about the shooter sticking around this time. This is a process of elimination for the Dunham team. Really nice, great shot. Double takeout. And rolled the shooter away. No, we're just curling tomorrow. All right, sorry folks, just had to step away there for a second, but the Bernath team looking like first of the skip stones here. He's forced to play a come around. It's a really high guard, and with the curl we've been getting this week, I think Dunham's always going to have a shot at it. So Bernath basically needs 2 misses out of the Dunham team. So mathematically, at the moment, he's still in it, but so the Brusher's just keeping a broom down. They do want to be shot with this rock. They want to be shot, buried, and I think they pretty much achieved the objective. They're okay going behind tee. they slip? Well, they slipped a hair further than they wanted, so they are not shot right now, as far as by my guess, anyways. A little tough. I don't have the greatest angle on this. But nonetheless, it looks like the Dunham team's just going to follow this down with a lightweight takeout. I'm expecting a kind of hack to boardish at most kind of weight. It should be accessible. We've had some great curl all weekend. Like I said, the ice crews put in just a fabulous effort here. And I know we saw some pics in the last game. We talked about that. We were impacted by a power outage earlier today, so no fault of anyone's, but obviously the Dunham team looking confident in this throw. Nice clean release there. Lots of rotation on that rock. That's what you want to do on every shot. And they are carving it here, though. Working it hard. Looks like it's coming. Think they got enough of it. And yes, good job, Team Dunham. Congratulations. You made the rock go away. And that is a win. They've eliminated the rocks for the Bernath team. So we will see Team Dunham versus Team McEwen in the final. The exact time, we were supposed to be up a little bit earlier than this, but because of the power outage, we got to give these teams a little bit of a break. They might want to grab a bite to eat. And so we'll be back here, I'm going to guess, within an hour to an hour and a half. I'm sure the teams are excited to get going too, but they'll definitely want to have a little bit of a break. So stay tuned on our YouTube channel. We will post. I will definitely start the stream early. So please stick around, Philadelphia. We're looking forward to have you come back. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.